All right, hey everybody. Hope you're well. It's Saturday night, and it's about 11:45 p.m. And last time I was on here, I think we were doing a little bit of pocket pennant run baseball. So last I heard from Paul Fay that I guess the new patch hopefully will be out very, very, very soon. So fixed a couple weird bugs again. The game. Paul also says that this time last year the game was like a 23% stability. Now it's at 97%. So good sign for those of us that really like pocket pennant run. And a lot of people have been jumping on board the game. So yeah, I was stopped in Dave Gardner's chat earlier. Had a live chat going. It was really really good. Really talking about something we've talked about before, but certainly always is a good discussion about bringing more people into the hobby. And I have my own thoughts about that too. So I'll share them. Maybe we can, hopefully, some people join up, get on, or whatever you want to talk. So, but a lot of them were talking about it being an age thing and stuff like that, and about sort of slowing down, getting into this hobby, especially. Of course, it was very cards and dice focused. It was, the Digital to Dice podcast, so very focused more on cards and dice play. Um, I'm not sure that it's strictly or completely. I would guess that age can be a factor in it, but I don't know. I had some other thoughts, but there are just so many people in that chat to really kind of jump in and everything like that. But it's great, and I suggest you guys watch it. Good stuff. Maybe some of you are there will come here. Who knows? Um, but I've been thinking about a lot of other factors as well. So, and I mean, we'll kind of talk about both cards and dice and digital baseball. Although, again, I think it's that dichotomy between the two is maybe a little bit artificial. Um, but if you think about it, I know in my own, and I've mentioned this before. Hey, there we go. How you doing, Parallel League? Saw Parallel League earlier, and Dave Gardner's chat was really good. So it was a live podcast, Digital Dice podcast. So definitely go back, check it out, see what the guys were talking about. I was not there for the whole thing, but a lot of it was sort of centering around age, and I'm not sure that's the complete story. I think that they covered it very well, but I think there are other factors involved, and maybe they talked about these when I had to jump out for a little while. But if you think about it, I mean, what has been? I think a larger factor has been the way that our time is used now than maybe it might have been before. Look at the rise of things like audiobooks, stuff like that, and things like Audible, and you know, and things that I hope are never going to replace physical books or anything like that. But more and more people are turning to that, and then plus the other sorts of instant gratification things that are going on. You can fire up YouTube, man, and you can watch anything you want. Well, almost anything you want. But think of a subject, and you can. It's in there. You can dive into that rabbit hole. Streaming services galore everywhere. The smartphones we take with us, which, of course, funny enough, I think Alexander Graham Bell invents the telephone so that we would stop, basically typing whatever the whole telegraph thing. But what are we doing on phones? We're typing. I hate texting, by the way. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. But I guess the point that I'm getting at is that I think that culturally, maybe many of us, a lot of us, are sort of veering away from things that are a little bit more, that require more interaction, that require kind of an investment of self, and also kind of requires a space. So let me explain that, what I mean. We'll start with this space part. If you're reading a book, a good old-fashioned book, big fat baseball book, a novel, history, something, astronomy, whatever that might be, you have to situate yourself in a place, right? So you can't You can't read a book. Hey, John DFW, welcome in. So you can't read a book in total darkness. You can't read a book while you're driving. Um, you guys get the picture. But you have to situate yourself. Pardon me. Sound like that guy that smokes weed on here on YouTube while he does baseball games. So, but I'm not smoking weed. All right. Anyhow, so you have to situate yourself, right? Well, I think that's part of what's going on. So instead, now you've got Audible. You've got, you could experience the Lord of the Rings by listening to it on your phone. I know that I guess Andy Serkis, who was Gollum in the Lord of the Rings movies, is doing, or is coming out with, or it is out already, that he's actually doing the entire Lord of the Rings. So there's that. Now, if you think about cards and dice games, again, you have to create a space. You have to create a space. So sure, you can have adjuncts like Ballstat. You could even play cards and dice, although Pocket Pennant Run, you can play it on PC, and I guess it will work with some emulators and other systems. But games like Out of the Park Baseball, right? Okay, maybe you can take its little brother, Out of the Park Go, with you. But if you want to play Strat, you want to play APBA, and you want to throw the dice, well, you can't do that. You have to situate yourself. You can't do that on your commute to work. You need space. You need space, unless you're playing something like Strat Max. So Season Ticket arrived today. Loving it so far. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good about that game. Clay Dresslov's Season Ticket Baseball. I've heard it's amazing, and I really, really hope, again, and then I'll get back on track, that he will decide to convert that to those of us who are largely digital players into a digital format. Baseball Mogul, again, did a great job for all the years that it was around, but I think the past few years it's just kind of it's plateaued. So that's good to hear, John. Hope it doesn't take away from your Out of the Park play and other stuff like that, but it's good that you're enjoying it. And again, if I had the physical space and all that, that's probably the game I would be playing. A board game or cards and dice game would be Season Ticket Baseball. But you have to situate yourself. But now, we sort of praise this kind of, and I'm not by any means a neo-Luddite. I love technology. Even though I'm an artist, I love exploring artificial intelligence. You'd like to speak to Clay offline for 15 minutes. I think there's a lot of people that would, actually. I just wish that, those of us would convince him, look, it's time to put Baseball Mogul to bed and do Season Ticket Baseball, because you even in the newest patch, he's admitted that it's kind of, it was kind of just some fixes, things like that, no real upgrades to it. Whereas Out of the Park keeps pushing forward constantly. But this setting up space, right? So a little bit of history. Back in the 1950s, a French sociologist named Jacques Ellul wrote a book called The Technological Society. And in it, Ellul, of course, and in many ways, a very prescient book with what's going on today. So while I'm not a neo-Luddite, I'm an artist. I love messing around with AI, though. Even though I'm an artist, I'm a bit of a writer, I'm a musician, all that thing. I like to explore tools. I like to explore things that enhance creativity and things like that. So while I'm not in any way some sort of neo-Luddite, I do think that we got ourselves into something that Jacques Ellul talked about in this 50s. Season Ticket Baseball, alive and dynamic, while Strat doesn't. So yeah, and Parallel League says he has Midjourney to create pictures and logos for your league. And I use, oh my God, I use Leonardo. I use all kinds of stuff. And again, I am an artist, and I have no problem at all using those things. If I wanted to create, and this all does tie into our discussion, so I'm not actually going off track. I could take a month and do, some killer drawing or something like that for maybe a project that I want to do. But if it's like, if I want to spend time on the project, yeah, I have no problem with using Leonardo or uh, any other sort of thing. Artistry, by the way, is an amazing platform. By the way, if you use Midjourney, you should check into Artistly. It's incredible. It's incredible, and you pay a one-time fee for this thing, and it's not expensive at all. And the images it produces are just mind-blowing. Character consistency from one image. No more having to train models if you don't want to. Anyhow, so Ellul talked about technology, right? Well, so other philosophers did too. Probably the most famous would have been Martin Heidegger, who also he did a very famous essay called On Technology. So, but for Jacques Ellul, there's a little bit more of maybe trying for Heidegger was trying to sort of, I guess, explore the morality of it, as if technology in itself had a morality or whatever. Jacques Ellul, though, posits, and this has everything to do, so hang with me, guys. I know this is starting to sound like a master seminar, but please hear me out. So he talked about, he uses the word technique, so just translated from France, technique is technology. And, he started, and he talked about how technology is so pervasive in our lives. And a lot of times we don't even realize it. Even propaganda is technology. And I don't think there's anybody that would argue that. You look at, you look at Nazi Germany, you look at, Maoist China, you look at the Stalinist Soviet Union, and you can see that there was a concerted effort and a multi-pronged technological means to get the message across for these regimes and stuff like that. But Ellul goes further than that, because he states in his book that he said that the new totalitarianism will come in the form of technique. It won't come in the form of jackboots and guns, paraphrasing. And that more so we'll welcome it. And we do. So imagine, think back to a time, and not so far ago, right, when you didn't have your cell phone with you, right? Somebody tried to call you, maybe you had a pager, or what was the thing, everybody, we had an answering machine, right? And it was handy, though. It was handy, right? Because you could always be away somewhere, and if somebody didn't want to talk to you, sorry, I missed your call, or man, my answering machine, it must have malfunctioned. But now you can't escape it, right? You think about your work. What do you have to do? There's so many sign-ons. Download an app for everything, for your health insurance, for your, dental insurance, vision, they've got apps for everything, right? Sign on things, double authentication, you can't get away from it. And I think that because we're so bound by all of this now that it's become a necessity, unfortunately. I talk to more and more people. It's like, I just want to get off the grid. I want to get off the grid. I want to get away from all of this. I want to leave, but we can't. You leave your home without your phone sometime, and it feels weird. Oh my God, I'm missing something. But I wonder if people who grew up without cell phones, they didn't feel that way. They went off to work. They went off on vacations. They did whatever with their families. They weren't thinking about these things. Parallel League says, check team buses and planes. Yeah, created team buses and planes for all your teams. That is so super cool. So super cool. So, I mean, technology, I think, is a good thing, but it also it's created a more adaptable space. So you don't need a space, right? You could be in your car. As long as you've got electricity or your phone's powered up, you can listen to an audiobook, right? So there you go, man. You've never thought of diving into something as amazing as the Lord of the Rings. Well, now, of course you can. You've been able to for quite a while. We have more choice now, I mean, it's not just what the networks feed us. As I say, you go on YouTube, how many streaming services are out there? YouTube is the pioneer, but look how many streaming services are out there. You're not just bound by whatever's on. I remember my folks, well, let's see what's on television tonight, that kind of thing. We don't even think that way anymore. What's on television tonight, right? How many people in here still subscribe to newspapers? I don't. I can't tell you the last time I wrote a paper check, and I love it. I love it. You kidding me? I love it. But I think now that comes to narrowing this, getting this down, focused into the baseball games that we play, or the sports games that we play, or the games that we play, even more broadly speaking. So for me to be able to play a baseball game, and I've explained many times before why I have a preference for digital baseball: lack of room. I have two very playful cats batting dice all over the place, and having the ability to create the baseball universe I want to create. And I'm not limited by either lack of seasons from a company that does cards and dice, or just lack of funds, because it's expensive. It's expensive. Even if you're buying $10 PDFs, it's expensive. So that's why I've really, I'm very careful about the digital games I invest in that require you to buy seasons. Action PC, got everything for it. I'm glad I do. But I can sit down here as long as I've got a PC, and I could take my laptop, go and sit in a park, and I can play Action PC baseball, or Out of the Park, or all of those things. And I can create what I want to create. But for a lot of people that are younger than us, and so I would say that we're people in here anywhere from, well, we have Aaron. So Aaron's in his 30s. He's the youngest person in our community that I know of. So we have people here from their 30s to their, I think, late 70s, something like that. So I would say a pretty good cross section, but we have no 20-somethings that I know of, and certainly no teens in this community, and it wouldn't be in this channel anyhow. This is not for kids. So if they're here, well, sorry. But I think that also has a lot to do with it. You watch people's faces are in their phones all day, man. I remember going out to a club, and this was right after the thing that happened. I guess YouTube's still goofy about using that word. I don't know why. But anyhow, I was thinking, okay, maybe after all of this is over and people are no longer isolated, maybe, just maybe, they'll put down their phones and kind of connect again physically. And so found out that wasn't the case. I was at a club one night doing music. It was and so it was a break. I'm sitting at the bar having a Guinness, and I happened to look over, and there's this really attractive couple sitting with one another, sitting side by side, like you do, or like you should. But they weren't looking at each other. They were looking in their phones, not at each other. And I just thought, wow, we just went through like a year of, being in lockdown, isolated, and this, whole big threat that was going on. And the people, while they were in this lockdown, were talking about the lack of contact and the lack of interaction in that same sort of space. And yet, I think we're more isolated now than we were in 2020 and 2021. But so I think with TikTok, with all of those things, with the fact that people aren't reading books, how many people in here was the last time you read a physical book cover to cover? I mean, some of us have, but read a physical book, as opposed to, I think that we've drawn into this thing of almost technology's created this thing for us of a fear of missing out. That's kind of what I'm getting to. And maybe that's why we're not attracting the teens and the 20-somethings into a hobby that does require a space. And I don't necessarily mean a physical space as much as I do a situation. Dwayne Martz has talked about this before. Yes, Out of the Park is definitely a bargain with every season. It sure is. Digital Diamond, same thing. And so I encourage, these, I love, these guys are doing it. Again, like Mark Cohen said, The data are out there. Why charge for seasons? But I don't know. That's just my thought, my takeaway, and it'd be nice to maybe sometime engage Dave in a nice conversation, because I did like what a lot of people were saying in there. And I think that one of the ways that I think that we do get people in here is something that Dwayne Martz said. And when I say in here, I mean into our hobby. And he said, once if Out of the Park Baseball would incorporate a sort of board game companion where you put the play and you actually see, right, the animation, he used the just a ground ball to first, 3 unassisted, what have you. And I think for people seeing that, that might bring them in. Now, my case is very, very different. I didn't start with cards and dice. I know there are a couple of you in this community that had this sort of same introduction to baseball simming as I have. I knew nothing about cards and dice baseball. I had no idea existed. My first foray into baseball gaming was, really Earl Weaver, and then finding things like Micro League Baseball and playing those on, simulators and stuff, or emulators, things like that. And it wasn't until I got to college that I started playing cards and dice baseball. I was like, well, this is pretty cool, and then working at Penn State, and I was working there with the advent of the World Wide Web, one of the first people to actually create websites. So, that puts me at about, the second decade of people that are in this community, I guess. So John, right. John, I know that you were the other one. There was one more person. John says he didn't start with cards and dice either. And I do. I like cards and dice. I really do. But I can see where, if you're going to get a kid who likes baseball and everything like that, but his video game time is playing, Call of Duty or whatever. Yeah. Like Twitch games. And you're going to sit them down in front of something like Digital Diamond Baseball that you're looking at right here. Or you're sitting them down in something, sexier looking, like Out of the Park Baseball. Right. But all of a sudden, right. So the craze, the speed of Fortnite, of Call of Duty, of whatever those other, I play a lot of games. I'm not a first person shooter game. They give me motion sickness, but I can play flight simulators and stuff like that. So go figure. And they don't give me motion sickness. But how do you get them, into that? Is it, I wonder, another person mentioned in the Digital Dice podcast, that it's going to be, when these people get older, that they're going to say, well, look, I want something with a little more substance. But, and I think while that's certainly a valid point, one of the things that you've been seeing in console gaming, I'm a PC gamer, but I do have a PS5 and had a PS4, is you're now starting to see more and more and more games on there that were once really kind of sorry, in the ecosystem of PCs and Macs, right? So I'm talking about, 4X grand strategy games and simulation games, things like that. But now on PS5, you can play these traditionally PC games, right? So you can now play Stellaris, you can play Age of Wonders 4, and so now that you're because I think that console game companies and just game companies in general are seeing, okay, we've got all these teens, we got all these 20s, but we want to keep people gaming. This is how we can take our holidays to Cancun or Cayman Islands or what have you, or Cleveland, and so that line is even being blurred now. So what could there be about this hobby that could attract people that are looking? Because even though you're 20 something, it doesn't mean you're not looking for substance. Lots of 20 somethings are looking for substance. I do believe that. I know when I was a 20 something, I was too, and I know you guys were too. I think to even be in this hobby, this crazy hobby that we're doing, no matter what sport, because remember, we are geeks among the gamers. I think you have to look at substance, and This isn't, these games, whether it's a digital baseball game or whether it's a cards and dice baseball game, you got to work at it. You have to work at it. You can't twitch. You got to use the gray matter between the ears. I don't care whether you're rolling dice or you're clicking a mouse. You have to make decisions. A lot of, most of the broadcasts that I do on here, I let the computer AI manage both sides because I like to just call the games and talk to you guys. But offline, it's a whole different story. I love to manage against these AIs, and this game is pretty tough. The one you're looking at here. If you're not careful, you can get your butt kicked in Diamond Mine Baseball. It's very, very crafty. So I don't know. I just wanted to open. I know that was a long opening sort of remark. I'm hoping that would maybe get, if we could get some discussion. If not, we'll just do a little Diamond Mine Baseball. I've just been wanting to do this one more and more on the channel because I love it, and I figure the people that hang out with it, it's cool. It's cool, and I think it's worth it. But just something to think about. Maybe we can plan a more formal chin wag some night, and I don't know. Just I'd love to get some people on here to talk about it and see what your thoughts are. If I'm off base, if whatever. I will say this: I do not think that the sports gaming hobby will ever come to an end. I don't think that once, So again, I see we have people in here from our, from their 30s to their late 70s. There might even be some 80-year-olds hanging about here. I have no idea. But I don't think that once our 30-year-olds hit 70, that all of a sudden there's not going to be any more Strat or APA or season ticket baseball or inside pitch or any of that stuff. I think this is going to survive. It weathered. In fact, it did well. It came through the whole. Commodore 64 was out. It was huge. And in the age of Nintendo and Amiga, and then when PC gaming finally caught up and surpassed the Amiga in some ways. But it weathered all that. And people were still rolling cards and dice, when the internet came around, and World Wide Web and now YouTube and AI and everything, and it's still here. And I think that maybe just like how all through the history of baseball, people were predicting its demise, it's still here and going strong as much as we're about it. So I just wanted to talk about that space. So I don't know, John. I'm not positive, because I do know that he was part of the team that developed Old Time Baseball. If you look, if you have Old Time Baseball and you look in the credits, you'll see Clay Dreslov's name there. So, Parallel League says, growing up with Status Pro, it has thrived long after it went away. And I mean, that's the other thing too, why I don't think this hobby is going to die. And so when I talk about the hobby, I mean digital sports simming and cards and dice. I don't think either will die. I think Parallel League brings up a good point. And I think to substantiate that point, go on YouTube sometime, because another thing, one of my hobbies too that I love to do, a gaming hobby, at least I have a lot of hobbies, is retro gaming. So like last year, I bought a 2 terabyte drive loaded with, I don't know how many damn games are on that thing. From you name the system, game's going to be on there from back in the day. From MAME, so arcade games, there's television, ColecoVision stuff, Neo Geo, TurboGrafx 16, all this stuff. People want that stuff. Companies are making these mini PCs to be able to, play these things, going all the way back to from the Atari 2600 up to PS2, PS3, what have you. Obviously, the lights are still on at Stratomatic and at APA. People are keeping Status Pro alive. Look at Derek Beckner, great example there. Welcome in, Todd. He says, unfortunately, a large group of these types, players like ourselves, are solitaire. The hobby needs something to make it more interactive. I agree with you. But here's the thing, Todd. You can play Action PC baseball online right now. I could fire it up and say, anybody here have Action PC Baseball. Let's play a game. Steve Tate and I did that a couple years ago. We were playing and showing people, and it's super fun. But people play that solitaire, even Action PC Baseball, and it's super easy to do. But it's nobody does it, and I think maybe there is that kind of solitaire thing that Todd is talking about. That I mean, my thing with cards and dice is this. When I started playing cards and dice baseball, guys, I never played it solitaire. It's always against my my best friend in college. When we were undergrads at Penn State, we played Status Pro mostly, but we also played APA and we played Strat, but we always played head to head. I never ever, when I wanted to play baseball solo, I fired up whatever baseball sim I had to play. Baseball for Windows. So I'm talking about now when I was in college. So it would have been Baseball for Windows, old time baseball, things like that. So, early to mid 90s. But so Todd brings up a good point, right? These other games, like the Twitch games, especially like Call of Duty, and forgive me, I can't remember, whatever, because I don't play those. I do play some pretty fast-paced, crazy PC games, but again, I don't play first-person shooters. And those are all, it's almost like, you got to play those co-op or PvP or whatever. So maybe it's going to require a paradigm shift. But again, how do you do that? And that's the other question. I'm going to highlight some things. I keep forgetting I'm doing this on StreamYard in hopes of getting folks actually on here. But in the chat is great too. Paraleague says, I've got Action PC Baseball with playing in against people online, but I can never figure out how to do it. Oh man, well, I'm going to do a tutorial on it some night then. Because it's super fun. And maybe some night for a chin wag, maybe we can just, just play a game just for fun. Because it is. It's real easy to do, actually. John says, I think it's cool that Dave Gardner is having a dice con so people can get together and play various sports games. I think it's awesome too. I wish I could go. I know Ken Castro talks a lot about, going to these APA conventions and things like that. And yet here we are, that we actually, maybe not everybody, but most of us have the means to create virtual spaces, to even roll up a game and not be in person. Look at us here, right? So Todd's in Ohio. I don't know where half of you guys are. John, Texas area. I'm in Pennsylvania. Ken's in Rhode Island. Clinton Parks is in Maine. JT Dutch is in California. So, I mean, what Dave Gardner is doing is really, really cool. Parallel Leagues in Ohio. So we would have the means to actually do it. And I think it'd be kind of interesting to talk about. Utah Mike is in Utah, transplanted New York or New Jersey, I forget which. I think Mike told me. By the way, guys, just a quick side note. Go to Mike's channel. He posted a video about 10 days ago now, just about some things he's dealing with in life. Maybe drop him a little comment in there and give him a little bit of love, chin up, all that kind of stuff. Mike's such a good guy in our community. Anyhow, maybe something to explore would be, how do we use this kind of new ecosystem to maybe do things like not only play Action PC Baseball head to head, but what would it take to be able to roll up some cards and dice if people thought about that? So you got two people that have Strat cards and dice, and those two people have, I'll just say, the 1975 season. So they could get on YouTube, and it's free to do so, right? Set up webcams, set up the whole thing, and actually and do it that way and get people involved. And I know, here's why I know this would work. So, and Todd, you were around back then too, so you would remember this. I'm going to bring it up. So this was back in 2017, I think it was. And the two Earls, anybody who's a long time member of the YouTube sports gaming community, which is funny we call it that. It's almost like we have this sanctioned by Google and YouTube, but we call ourselves that. Every Sunday, I remember I was living in Holland, so that it was like damn late for me. I had to stay up. We would get together every Sunday, and I believe it was Oklahoma Earl, because they shared a YouTube channel, so hence the name, the Two Earls. And we would all get together and do APBA horse racing, because Earl had, and I mean, I guess these things now, man, you'd have to like put a second mortgage in your home to get the APBA, because he had all the horses, you know, the metal horses, and painted them all up, and we're all betting on our horses and stuff like that. And every Sunday, and it was a thing, man. And he had the webcam set up and the whole thing, and it was super cool. And I remember D. Scott Howard's there, our Red Sox fan, ID Jester, Chris, Lower Slower Gaming. So Chris Delaware was there. So many guys. Ken Castro was there. Clinton Parks was there. It was amazing. So they did it. And I think we could do it now. I mean, you can buy a webcam. I know Nathaniel was talking about, and Todd, I'm going to get to your comment. Nathaniel wants to get a webcam. The thing I use here that I also use for just talking to you guys is a little Logitech webcam. Thing was like $40. So $40, a YouTube account is free. You can use StreamYard for free if you want to. There's also other free alternatives out there. And Bob's your uncle. Get 2 people on there. Little secret about StreamYard, you can use it like Zoom. Even if you use the free version, you can go on, create just like a one-on-one chat on this thing, never go live, and it doesn't count against your hours if you're not, even if you're not on the paid plan, which I am. But if you're not, you can use it like Zoom, and it's free. So I'm just putting a bug in people's ears out here. Hey, there he is. And top of the evening to you, Michael Silva and Ken Castro joining us. I'll get to their comments in a sec. Todd says, I think a lot of us want to be interactive, hence why we report our leagues and projects, but agreeing on playing a certain season or players makes it difficult. It does. But I would offer, Todd, that that's going to be the case anyhow, right? Cousin or Ken Castro's cousin, and Chet fam. Yes, horse racing Sunday was a blast. Exactly. Mike, it's good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. There are those things that always have to be ironed out, Todd. I do get you. I completely get you. But if we even just talk about that interactivity, well, okay, one way to do it, an easy way to do it, and again, I'm not trying to pimp it out or anything like that. There's one solution sitting on my desktop right here. Pocket Pennant Run Baseball. If anybody owns Pocket Pennant Run Baseball, you've got every season. So it's not a case of, that lack of availability. So there is one way. I realize not everybody has it, but there is a way. Digital Diamond Baseball is cheap and has Status Pro Baseball built into it. So there are options. There are options. I think co-ops are a nice way to interact as well. And of course, the Field of Dreams project. Yeah. So, Steve Tate's, that project, which grew out of an idea of yours that you had during the McGreevy League. And look what Field of Dreams is, its own thing now, man. Season 11 with those guys. And watched a little bit of Bernie's broadcast quietly today. And it was good stuff, seeing some of the usual suspects still dominating in that. But yeah, it's amazing to see that going on. So how do we take things like the McGreevy League and the Shanks League and Field of Dreams and create that interactivity? I mean, when Ken Castro and I started the Ned McGreevy League, and this is not just my baby, he started it as much as I did. We didn't dream that it would be as successful as it was. This and it's still a little tiny YouTube channel. It blew up. Though it was like it was insane. I would check in like the amount of new family members that would happen almost daily. Brought people back into baseball like MV. It brought people like Bernie, who knew nothing about that era of baseball, is now a big fan of dead ball baseball, and I think he's getting into 19th century baseball as well. And cousin Ken and I never imagined that it would do that. And I would say, I think last time I looked, we have 657 family members here. I would say, guys, that roughly 300 family members came in here during McGreevy. 300. That's insane. Now, this channel could be a little bit larger. I took 2 years off from it. You know, I wasn't here last Saturday. I only did one broadcast, so I'm very erratic. I have to own that. You know, RGO Network, you know when he's going to be on, you know when he's not going to be on. I'm not like that. I just come on. So hey, there he is. Nathaniel says he's gonna listen tonight. Have a migraine tonight. Oh my god, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, nobody's really said they want to come on mic, so I don't even have headphones on. Just kind of talk, and we will get to a game here soon. It's just nice to interact with you guys. So we enjoy this interaction, and I do know that you know, Saturdays, I humbly say that we have kind of created a tradition where we kind of get together, especially on Saturday nights here. And sometimes folks are on mic and sometimes whatever. And it's always been a tradition here that the game is secondary. You guys, you family members, you are first. You are first. So, when we do get through a game, it's a miracle. But so that collaboration and that competitiveness and cooperation that Todd's talking about is awesome. And one of my personal things that I want to do is I want to get, if you guys notice, most of the guys that come on mic, except for Clee Baseball Fan 879, just about everybody else is a digital player. And I'm like dying to get like some Cards and Dice guys just come on here and just talk baseball gaming. I might not play, roll up dice right now for the reasons I've given you guys. Doesn't mean I don't love it. I do. And I'd love to just talk about it. And hey, speak strat to me, baby. That's fine too. So I'm just trying to figure out how we can get Cards and Dice guys, because I hate the fact that I don't want people to feel that, well, shit, all Beatles Eternally does is digital baseball and I'm not welcome here. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. We all share a love of a hobby of simulating baseball. And I know many of you play other sports as well, but for me, it's baseball. And so, thanks for listening to this sort of homily that's gone on now for 42 minutes. Thank you, Nathaniel. I've PayPal'd some money to you for that one. All right, guys. So, now on to Diamond My Baseball. So there's a family member out there. I think he's a family member. Gene Grabowski. Gene, if you're hitting this here, man, and that's his YouTube name anyhow. I have answered your comment, man. How can I reach out to you? I want to learn how to customize this game. So you can apparently use nice ballpark images and Diamond Mine Baseball and do some other stuff. So hopefully, Gene, if you get this, please somehow in the comments, let's figure out how we can, because I want to learn. If not, I guess I'll troll around the internet because I love this game. So, Ken says he had a long week, but on the rebound, that's good. That is good. So I'll let we'll do some Diamond Mine Baseball. We're going to do something from the all-time great players. Now, the thing is, you guys want newer baseball or older baseball? Let me know. And you know what I call newer baseball is anything 1970s and after. So that's, to me, 1971 is new baseball. So, while you guys are thinking about this, somebody in Dave Gardner's, I can't remember the guy's name now. He typed it in chat, and he said, and Ken, you'll love this, that he became a fan of dead ball baseball because of playing Cards and Dice baseball. He said, I became a fan of dead ball because of Cards and Dice, and I was actually able to experience how great. And he singled out Nap Lajoie and Hannes Wagner, and I thought, how cool is that? So here's a guy that got right. So Bernie Strom got into dead ball baseball through watching it digitally. And there was this guy, I wish I could remember his name now. I'm sorry. And he doesn't come in here. He's not a part of this channel. I hope he comes in sometime. I would recognize his name. I think it's Ferrer or something like that. But he's a fan of dead ball baseball because of this hobby. And earlier this year, or no, late last year, I was very, very honored Saber had asked me, our local Saber here, the Mathewson Plank chapter, had asked me to do a presentation, and I did it on baseball gaming as an adjunct to baseball history. And it went over pretty well. I think it went over some people's heads there, trying to make that sort of cognitive connection between learning the history of baseball and how you can use a game, whether it's cards and dice or digital, to learn more about that game. So, but I thought that was super cool to read that. I'm like, okay, there we go, kindred spirit. I didn't want to, like, that was Dave's thing. I didn't want to type in Dave Gardner, hey dude, you should come over, and that's mostly what we play over here. I know it not lately, but really the bulk of this channel is older baseball, and especially dead ball baseball. And then when Ken Castro's around, 19th century baseball, I don't dare play it without him here, because I don't know a gazillion of what he knows about the 19th century dead ball. I think I could almost keep up with cousin Ken Castro, but 19th century, man, forget it. That's his bailiwick. Parallel League says, similar for me, Avalon Hill's All-Star Replay magazine has status pro cards for the 1912 World Series. There you go. Boy, and what a great World Series that one was, huh? Giants, Red Sox. Oof. Great. I think one of the greatest World Series ever played. In terms of the teams, maybe the outcome wasn't a real nail biter. So there you go. So think about that. So for Parallel League, if you hadn't, right, and you're a baseball fan, right? But if the Avalon Hill game didn't have the status pro cards for the 1912 World Series, would you have gotten an interest in learning about Christy Mathewson, and Rube Marquard and Smokey Joe Wood and on and on and on, right? Speaker, yeah. Nathaniel says exciting news, going to move out in July, August, or September. Great for you, Nathaniel, man. That is awesome news. All right, good things happening in the community here. Love it. Cousin Ken says, speaking of 19th century, cousin, we finally got that project we tried about years ago. Wow. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I would. I know I will. So when's it happening? Has it happened? How do I subscribe? Is there anything I can do to help? Do you need a logo? Do you need to tell me? Let me know. I want to know. All right, so we got one vote for older baseball. So we're gonna switch this to older baseball. I had to set up for newer baseball. We're gonna go back to old-timey baseball. So let me change the active database to something older. And we just do the all-time great players, volume 1. Ba-ding. All right, so what do we have here on tap here? Boy. Yep, so we're back now. Now we're going to be back old-time baseball. Old-time baseball. All right. So Parallel League says, I think they got me started when I bought a book with every World Series in it, and with the help of Baseball Encyclopedia, I was hooked. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it was kind of me. It wasn't cards and dice, but I remember, give me 1 second, guys. You're going to hear me talking to my cats. I just realized their water dish is bone dry. So give me like 10 seconds here and I will catch up. Talk amongst yourselves. Here, kiddos, come on. Yeah, I know. I have been remiss. Little ones. There you go. There we go. All right. All right. I'm here now, sitting down, doing my fatherly duty for my two little tigers here. He said you ran your project idea by Clinton, and that curmudgeon was excited about it. Well, yeah, that's been waiting for that one, man. If there's anything I can do, or it's just about enjoying, that's cool with me too, man. Can't wait for it because it's going to be great. You were hoping for a ride from the Cats. Thanks a lot, Mick. Good to see you too, man. 19th century. That would mean installing, I'd have to install a 19th century season in here, which I could do. I guess I could do that. Except I don't have them all in the same directory where they need to be. So let's keep that. Let's keep 19th century for another night, and let's just do some older baseball here. So this is going to be players from, I don't know, up to 1968. So this is a series of all-time greats teams, but these are split up into different sort of eras of all-time great players and stuff like that. So you're going to see some all-time great players that maybe you wouldn't see. So there's one here in progress that we're gonna let it finish out. So yeah, it just started, but we're gonna just go ahead and quick play this game, I think, and then we'll go to boom. Oh wow, would have been a good one. St. Louis Browns defeat the Washington Senators 9-6. All right. So let's save. Yeah. And let's save. So yeah, Gene Grabowski, if you're out there, man, let's figure it out because I would like to tart this game up some more. All right. Geez, what day am I on here? I have no idea. Pa. So I've already finished this game. So this is the one thing I always forget how to do in oh, there we go. Okay. So you can see here on your screen, these are numbers. So each team, like the New York Giants, there are 7 all-time great New York Giants teams on here. No doppelgangers. So the older franchises, there's going to be a whole bunch. There's 3 Chicago Cubs teams on here. You do see 1 Los Angeles Dodgers. But you're also going to see the Brooklyn Dodgers are going to be in here as well. So let's pick the battle of the city of brotherly love. How about the Philadelphia Athletics versus the Philadelphia Phillies? Don't know who's on these rosters. We could look, but what the hell? Let's just play a game. Okay, and we're going to let the managers do everything because I just can't be arsed. All right, we are at the Baker Bowl. The temperature at game time is 72 degrees. The wind blowing right to left at 11 miles per hour, and the sky is clear. And here we are in Tiny Baker Bowl. So we'll get started here in a minute. Okay. So taking your handpicked team on the road, cousin. Interesting mix. It's going to be fun. Tagline for the tour, cousin: revive the tradition of barnstorming tours to highlight the grassroots spirit of baseball. I love it. I love it. And that's something that Too Bad Baseball kind of lost. Was that whole barnstorming thing. All right, I'm going to keep watching the chat, and other than that, we're going to be doing some Athletics versus the Phillies. So this should be fun. Look like some pretty good teams here. So a good mix here of dead balls, 20s, 30s, 40s, up to 1968. So all-time great players, Volume 1 goes from the National Association up to 1967, and then Volume 2 is 68 to present-day baseball. All right, here we go. So Max Bishop leading off here against Old Pete Alexander in Philadelphia. All right, 1-1 is the count. Alexander works to Bishop, bouncing ball to second, and Whitney has it. He'll take his time. He'll throw on to Hurst, and 1 down, scored 4-3. All right, brings up Eddie Yost. So I'm going to say that the Dutch way, Yost. I guess it's Joost, but I'll say Yost. It's Eddie Yost. All right. And here's the 1-2 pitch from Old Pete. Fly ball to Harper in left field, and he is underneath it and takes it in for the second out. It's 2 up, 2 down now for Bucketfoot Al Simmons. We just saw him in the game the other night. Alexander is ready. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Little soft line drive, hit off the fists, And this one's going to carry into left field out of Bancroft's reach for a hit. So 2 down, and Bucketfoot Al is aboard now for Mickey Cochran. Jimmy Fox waits on deck. Alexander works from the stretch. 2-1 is the count. And the delivery, this one is down in the dirt. Wilson gets behind it, blocking it nicely and gaining control. So no place for Al Simmons to go. Not exactly the fastest runner, but good play there by Jim Wilson of the Phillies catcher to keep that ball in front of him. All right. Count 4 now on Mickey Cochran, and here is the pitch. And Al Simmons is off the races. This breaking ball's popped up. Wilson coming back. We have room to make the catch, and he does. So nice catch there by Wilson at the fence, and that will end the inning. We go to the bottom of the first. It's the Philadelphia Athletics, nothing in Philadelphia Phillies coming to bat. Leading off, Dave Beauty Bancroft. Lefty Grove on the mound for the Athletics in the battle, the city of brotherly love. The Pilgrims versus the Fightins versus the Macmen. How about it there, Parallel League? So Ken Castro says, I have some bad dudes in that club. George Wright will have his hands full. I'm sure he will. So here, Todd asking, Ken, have you thought about using artificial intelligence to help form a story like in his project? Now, that's interesting because, Ken being a journalist, bringing journalistic skills to something like AI is really powerful. John's telling us here that his 1922 St. Louis Browns are now 23 wins and 10 losses, 2 behind the Yanks. And by the way, for those of you who like to shit on out of the park baseball, he's doing it in out of the park baseball, doing it as Drive for the Pennant, and it's playing out as it should be so far. So the 1922 Browns do finish 1 game behind the Yankees in 1922. Great team, so much fun to manage. Love that team. Richard Sports Network, Ron Juckett is replaying 1956, and he was a playing game from Milwaukee on the same day Bucketfoot Al died in Milwaukee. Wow. Did Ron happen to mention that? I know Ron's not... actually replaying 1956, that's pretty far back for Ron Juckett, so that's pretty cool. Not that Al Simmons died. Aloysius Szymanski, great player. He was, obviously. Both of these teams pretty stacked up here. We're going to see Chuck Klein here batting in the 4th position for the Fightins, and that's a Hall of Famer that just doesn't get enough love, for sure. So, right, John says he never knew of Ken Williams. Wow, not only so baseball's first 30-30 man. First man to steal 30 bases and hit or more than 30 bases and hit more than 30 home runs. Ken Williams, I think if he hadn't lost time to World War I and had just a few more years to his career, more people might have remembered Ken Williams. But really, his greatest year was 1922. But superb player by all accounts. And I think we highlighted Ken Williams. We've highlighted Ken Williams, and we will be getting back to that other Boston.com tournament at some point. I just didn't feel like doing any out of the park baseball tonight. So 1956 was before Ron's time. So that's before my time too. But again, so for I'll just use Ken, Clinton, and I as examples. None of us, and nobody in this chat was around 19th century dead ball era. For me, I love those eras of baseball, and I've learned. I know these players better than I know the players that are playing in 2025. I know some of the players. Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, DeGrom, and Paul Skeens, of course. Have to know who Paul Skeens is, or I can't be a Pirate fan. And I also know the Pirates suck this year. Not as bad as the White Sox, but we suck. But I can tell you more about Jimmy Fox, Wally Moses, Indian Bob Johnson, Hank Majeski, Mickey Cochran, Dave Bancroft than I can about even the guys that I've mentioned. So take that with a grain of salt. But I've always been a geek for this period of time. I know that some guys don't look back that far in baseball. So I never knew that Ron Jacquet was even playing in 1956. So that's kind of cool. So it's into July now. Yankees buried mid-pack. Wow. Okay. In 1956, Yankees should be doing a lot better than mid-pack, but we'll see what happens, huh? This year's Rockies the Rockies are horrible this year. Oh my God. They're really bad, man. So Ken, in talking about the AI thing, he says, had that discussion more than once with his son. So his son's a full-time journalist. So yes, we've gone back and forth on that. We're not opposed to it if used the right way and sparingly. So yeah, Ken, I talked about earlier among the things that I do, I'm an artist, a graphic artist, but I'm not above using AI for inspiration, or if I need something quickly done for a project, I'll fire up something like Leonardo, or other people use Midjourney or what have you, and bam. In fact, cousin Ken Castro got a little sneak peek. He can't tell anybody about it yet, but I am going to be starting an alternate type of channel on YouTube that has nothing to do with gaming. And cousin Ken, you think back to a few of those things that you woke up to, if you remember. So that channel's taking shape slowly. Ken's the only one that knows about it. So, but hopefully, if you guys find it, you'll find it enjoyable. You've been watching Banana Games, so yeah, you do like that alternate idea. I thought you would. I've been busy. But I've got to do. I want to do certain content that YouTube doesn't allow. So now guys are getting a little bit more of a hint. So people have talked about a platform called Rumble. So I've got to see what Rumble's policy is on more adventurous content. So again, guys, has nothing to do with baseball and nothing to do with gaming and everything to do with other things. So anyhow, let's get back to this and I'll keep watching the chat. All right. Here we go. The payoff pitch from Lefty Grove, and this one driven to left. And Bob Johnson, however, will camp under it, and he will make the play. So one away now for Pinky May in the box. Right-handed hitter against Lefty Grove. 2-0 pitch on the way, and this ball is clobbered to very deep left. Johnson going back and at the wall, and he puts it away. So tiny Baker Bowl here. We always talk about the dimensions here, but one of the things I love about Diamond Mine Baseball is you got them right here. So look at this, just 280 feet. That's like a little league field. 200, well, maybe a little league field's a little smaller, but 280 feet. You're going to 290, 304. At its deepest part was 408 back in this little sort of alcove thing. And there's like I think Ken said this ended up being a clubhouse when they built this on later on. But 341, so down the left field line, 348. So out here, it's kind of realistic, but you remember these old ballparks had to fit in their cities. It's just 280 feet away. And I'm visualizing Mike Silva's beautiful rendition of Baker Bowl as I'm talking to you guys about it. And I'm hoping I can learn how to get that into this game. This is really crazy. Sort of, kind of, except maybe a little bit more motion there, John, and talking, which Ken hasn't heard yet. So maybe something like that. Could be, might be, or it could be an agricultural channel. I would like it to be an agricultural channel. And long-time folks here know what I mean about an agricultural channel, and I'm hearing there's big money in that too. And there's actually a platform for that. So I'm thinking about that as well. So Mick says that he followed Major League Baseball closely until the 94-95 lockout. So yeah, same here, really, like post, except for the early 2010s, because my Pirates were pretty good then. But yeah, it's kind of me too. Steroid stories didn't help. There's another thing that's going to be, I think, a perennial eternal debate, whatever you want to call it. Should the steroid guys be in the Hall of Fame? There's the argument that Barry Bonds, not by himself, but those guys, right, the home runs flying out of the park, helped bring baseball back as much as did the Ken Burns baseball documentary, and certainly Buck O'Neil being an amazing ambassador for baseball, and now Justice Sonia Sotomayor saying get back to work kind of thing. So thank you, Justice Sotomayor, for that one. And then there are others that say, well, no. My thing is they can be in, but not before Shoeless Joe Jackson and not before Pete Rose, who, while Jackson may have gambled, and Rose did admit to gambling as a manager, but on the field, you've got baseball's all-time greatest hits leaders, and you also have the former who has baseball's third highest batting average, and these guys are not in the Hall of Fame. And what Jackson might have done in the 1919 series and what Pete Rose might have done as a manager does not in any way reflect the fact that they were great first-tier baseball Hall of Fame players. So once Jackson is in and once Rose is in, then we can talk about Barry Bonds and Clemens and all the other guys. That's where I am. So John does not want Rose in the Hall of Fame. So, and guys, Todd, I don't want to give away too much. Todd is coming up with a really cool project. If he gives me the go-ahead, I'll try to cover as much as I can. And I think it's a great idea. All right, here's Cy Williams. This is somebody that a lot of folks learned about in the Field of Dreams League. Cy Williams. This was a hell of a player here. All right, here's the 2-2 from Grove. Swung on and missed. Maybe. Yep, third base umpire getting it right on the appeal. So that's a strikeout, Lefty Grove. And we go to the top of the second, and no score here in Philadelphia. Jimmy Fox leading things off. Alexander has the signs, and here is the pitch. This one hit deep to left, home run depth, and it is gone. The Beast says it was hooking toward the pole, but managed to stay fair. And the Philadelphia Athletics tally one first. So 1-0 thanks to the Jimmy Fox home run. All right, here is Indian Bob Johnson now, batting in the number 6 slot. So let's see what Alexander does here. Pitch on the way. This one is launched with authority to deep right center field. Long run for Chuck Klein, but he will get there with that ball coming back to him off the right-hander's bat. So long fly out there. So Alexander giving up the long ball and then almost another one right to Indian Bob Johnson. All right, one away now. And that will bring up Wally Moses. And here we go. 3 balls, no strikes. Alexander works. Moses is taking all the way in ball 4. This one missing up high, and he'll take a stroll to first. So it'll bring up Hank Majeski now. Majeski batting from the right-hand side. 1 out here, 1-0 Athletics lead in the top of the second, playing at the Baker Bowl. Moses has the lead. Here is the ball 1 pitch. Ground ball over May's head. May will go to second for 1, or ground ball over third, and over to first. Much too late. Majeski is safe. So on with the fielder's choice, and it brings up Lefty Grove. In the box now, Hall of Famer versus Hall of Famer, 2 Titans. Not much of a lead for Majeski. 2-2 pitch. Got him called. Strike 3. Fastball low and with sink, but Alexander got the call at the knees. And Grove and Alexander are going to get calls all day. These 2 guys, 2 of the greatest of all time. And here is Chuck Klein. And good God, why doesn't this guy get more mentions? Chuck Klein, what a slugger he was, huh? So, so Todd B kind of talking about it in here. So, good stuff. Todd, I do hope you remember to add Fred Clark. Rose was a jerk, but it's sad the all-time hit leader's not in the Hall of Fame. So, Parallel League says he doesn't really carry the way. Yep. There we go. Love that. Yep. Beast plus Bandbox equals Blast. How about it? Love the Beast, man. Love the Beast. All right. Here is Chuck Klein. Chuck Klein leading it off here for Phillies, followed by Harper and then Wilson. Grove stares in, count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Grove works home, called strike 3, and Chuck Klein going down looking. So lefty Grove, hang up a K there, brings up George Harper. 2-1 pitch on the way, fly ball to right field. Moses on the move makes the catch on a ball that was very, very well hit. All right, so quickly 2 down now for Jim Wilson. And here's the pitch. Bouncing ball up the middle. Bishop can't get to it. Off his glove and into center. So Wilson, 2 outs, is aboard and brings up Don Hurst. Wilson off of first, no balls, 2 strikes, and Grove brings it home. Did Hurst go? Yes, he did. Umpire third rings him up, so 3 down, and we go to the top of the 3rd inning. The Athletics lead the Phillies 1-0. All right, we're back at the top of the order for the Athletics. Max Bishop. He grounded out his last time up, and here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and lifted high in the air to right. Klein drifting back, and he taps the glove once, twice, and gloves it for out number 1. Eddie Yost now. 3-0 pitch on the way, and Yost takes all the way. Ball 4. Bat never left his shoulder. Alexander loses him, so runner aboard and brings up bucket foot Al Simmons. Singled his last time up. Count 1 ball, 2 strikes, and here's the pitch. Alexander gets him looking. Screwball in the outside corner. Simmons thought it missed, but he was wrong. All right, here is Black Mike, Mickey Cochran. Bats lefty. Infield pop-up in the first. Strike 1, the count. Alexander comes to the plate. Hit high in the air to left field, and this one will stay in the ballpark. Cochran skying one for Harper, and George has it for out number 3. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. A's, Phillies. It's 1-0 in favor of the Athletics. And Clinton greeting the children. Good evening. How you doing, Clinton? Great to see you. The professor is here. All right. All rise. All right. Here's Pinky Whitney to lead things off for Phillies. It's going to be Whitney, Alexander, and then Dave Beauty Bancroft. All right. The 1-1 pitch from lefty Grove. Line drive. Right side. Fox dives. And this one will get through for a single. So Whitney aboard now for Grove and Cleveland Alexander. See if old Pete's going to lay down the sacrifice here. Throw to first. And Whitney is back in plenty of time. Grove checks Whitney at first. The pitch to Alexander. The bunt is on and fouled at the plate. Grove with a quick move to first. Whitney frozen for an inkling there, but then he got back. It's close play. Grove holding him close. Southpaw to the stretch and the 0-1 pitch. Alexander opens up to bunt. Bunted left side, but too much so, and this one will go foul. 0-2 pitch on the way. Struck him out looking. Alexander looks back at the ump, but the ump just turns his back. All right, so 1 away, back at the top of the order, Hall of Fame shortstop Dave Beauty Bancroft. I do have to do his read again one night. My internet crashed while I was still reading it, didn't realize it, and it's one of the funniest, best I've ever done, that I've ever read. It's not that I've done anything good. That, I mean. Coming to the plate, Dave Bancroft. Grove from the set. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Bancroft. Moses kicks and delivers. Moses strikes him out. Swinging. May have chased a bad ball. All right, so quickly 2 away now as Pinky May is in the box. Right-handed hitter. Flew out to deep left his last time. Count 2-2, and here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Fastball blown away, and down goes May swinging. And that retires the side. We go to the top of the 4th, and a pitcher's duel between Grover Cleveland Alexander and Lefty Grove. Philadelphia Athletics 1, and the Philadelphia Phillies 0. Jimmy Fox, Bob Johnson, and Wally Moses due up. So, of course, Fox homered his first time up. The wind and the pitch. Shot in the ground to third. May with the grab goes to first, retiring Jimmy Fox. Score that one 5-3, out number 1. Bob Johnson up for the second time today. Alexander winds and deals, hit hard toward the middle of the diamond. Base hit going into right center field. So Bob Johnson aboard now. 1 on, 1 out for Wally Moses. Walked on 4 pitches last time up. The 1-2 delivery. This one is hit hard to right, but right at Chuck Klein. Makes the play for the second out. So the pitcher's duel continues here in Philadelphia. Right-handed Majewski will face Alexander. Alexander eyes Johnson. Here's the delivery. Johnson gets a signal to steal, but he did not get a good jump. Strike 1, a screwball at the knees. All right, the 2-1 pitch lunged at and popped up short center field. Underneath it is Cy Williams, and he has it for out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Philadelphia Phillies trail the Philadelphia Athletics 1-0. This all-time great players, volume 1. And this is the second Philadelphia Athletics roster and the second Philadelphia Phillies roster. So, older ones, some dead ball and some 19th century players and what have you. All right, so Clark's going to be on your manager squad for the Washington Generals. Awesome. Dwayne, great job tonight. I caught a bit of Dave Gardner's the Digital to Dice broadcast. It was good to see you on there and bringing up some excellent points as you always do. So good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. All right. All right, it's going to be Williams, Klein, and Harper due up for the Philadelphia Phillies here in the bottom of the 4th inning here. Diamond Mine baseball action. Williams went down on strikes last time. 1-2 the count, and Grove comes to the plate, and this one is popped up. Third base side foul ground. Left side of the infield. We'll take a look, but that ball's going to make the seats. Grove toes the rubber. Here's the 2-2 pitch, hit slowly down the first base line, and Grove misses it. Do or die play. He tried to snag the rolling ball with his glove, didn't do it, and Williams is on with an infield hit. All right, so nobody out, and here is Chuck Klein. Batting in the cleanup position, Williams moves off first. The 0-1 pitch forthcoming. Ground ball up the middle, right at the bag at second. Yost on the bag makes the putout, then completes the double play. So a little 6-3 action on the double play. And quickly 2 out, bases empty now for George Harper. Tough ball game here. The lone run, the Jimmy Fox home run. All right, Mose comes to the plate. Long fly ball to right. Looks like it's long enough. Sprinting back is Wally Moses, but this one is over the wall, and George Harper makes it a new ball game. So the Philadelphia Phillies in the bottom of the 4th inning ties it up here at 1 apiece. All right. Still a hell of a ball game. Here's Jimmy Wilson, had a base hit up in his first trip. 1-2 pitch forthcoming, and strike 3 called. Forkball that might have been low, and an unhappy Jimmy Wilson is gone. 7 strikeouts for lefty Grove. We go to the top of the 5th. Philadelphia Phillies tie it with a home run. Both runs in this game, courtesy of home runs by Jimmy Fox and George Harper, respectively. It's 1-1. All right, we will see Grove, Bishop, and Yost due up for the Athletics. So Grove, for the second time today, struck out. 3-1 pitch, kick and delivery by Alexander. This one grounded to short. Bancroft is in between hops, but comes up with it, and his throw to first retires lefty Grove. All right, here's Max Bishop again, looking for his first hit of the game. 1-2 pitch on the way. Pop foul, left side. May chasing after it, but he's not going to get there. This one in the seats. Count still 1 ball, 2 strikes on Max Bishop. No, sorry, 2-2 delivery. Strike 3 swinging. Bishop missed a tough breaking ball, and he's gone. So both pitchers, 1 little mistake each, guys, and that is about it. Let's get back to Chad here. Parallel League says, I love the story about Alexander telling his manager Hornsby how he was going to get Lazeri out and then did it. And so I love that story too, right, Parallel League, because Hornsby recounted that. I mean, let's face it. Rogers Hornsby was by no means a meek or humble man by any account that I've read about the Raja. And he said he's telling Alexander, right, he's hungover the whole thing. He's at the end of his career. Of course, suffered shell shock from the First World War, epilepsy, the whole thing. I mean, wow, what a story. One of the gutsiest performances in World Series history. And Hornsby recounted, he said, and I realized, who the hell am I to tell Grover Cleveland Alexander how to pitch? And Alexander he pitched his ball game and got Lazzeri. Great story. Thank you for reminding me of that one. And you're welcome, Dwayne. That is such a great story. Oh, my God. I just love that, Hornsby. Who the hell am I to tell Alexander how to pitch? All right. Here we go. 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning. Thank you for hanging around, guys, for some Diamond Mine baseball. Number 2 hitter, Eddie Yost now. Walked in 4 pitches last time up. Here's the windup, the pitch from Alexander. In there at the knees, and Alexander picks up the strikeout. All right, we go to the bottom of the 5th. That one will retire the side. It is still 1-1. It'll be Hurst, Whitney, and Alexander due up for the Fightins. Hurst will lead things off here in the 5th. Grove stares in. Pitch is on its way, and there it goes, way over the wall in right field. Don Hurst is loving that short right field porch here, and the Phillies take the lead here in the bottom of the 5th. It is 2-1. Lefty Grove, fiery temper, not a happy camper right now. All right, Pinky Whitney is in there now. Had a base hit beforehand. 2-2 pitch, swung on a missed. Chasing something outside and goes down swinging. Lefty Grove now has 8 Ks on the game, so 1 away for his great mound opponent, Grover Cleveland Alexander, who struck him out last time. 1-2 pitch, and Alexander sends this to right field, and Wally Moses catches it. Routine play. Score that one F9 and 2 down. Back at the top of the order for Beauty Bancroft, another Hall of Famer that doesn't get enough love. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and here's the pitch. Low below the knees. Bancroft chasing and strikes out for the 2nd time in a row. 9 strikeouts for Lefty Grove. Baseball fans, we go to the top of the 6th inning. The Phillies lead the Athletics 2-1. Simmons, Cochran, and Fox due up. The heart of the order here for the Athletics. Parallel League telling us a little story here. So we'll start it off. He says, we had a 20s league. It's a damn good decade for baseball, the transitional decade. Had a 20s league on whatifsports.com years ago. And you had Hornsby and Gehrig. Oh, my God. Okay, so your infield, super strong on the right-hand side. You can't ask for much better than Hornsby and Gehrig. Jeez. Of course, Hornsby starting in the dead ball era, transition with no problems at all into live ball. And, of course, Gehrig, that's his rookie decade, the 1920s. What a team. What a team. All right, Al Simmons in there now. He struck out back in the 3rd. Count, 2 balls, no strikes, and the pitch is on the way. A grounder sharply hit to 3rd. Bobbled by May, but he keeps it in front of him, throws over, and still gets Simmons. So score that one 5-3, and here's Black Mike. Cochran batting in the 4th spot, flied out to left to end the 3rd. 0-2 pitch, check swing. Did he go? And he did. So 3 straight pitches. Alexander picks up another strikeout. All right, 2 down for Double X. Ready to go now. And the 1-0 pitch from Alexander. Alexander delivers on the ground in the whole left side. May is on it. And he would take care of Fox as he tosses on to Don Hurst. And that will retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 6th. And your score, the Phillies 2 and the Athletics 1. The Fightins in the McMahon, as Parallel League put it. All right. It will be May, Williams, and Klein due up for the Phillies. Pinky May here in the 6th. Nothing for 2 in the ball game. Wind up in the pitch by Grove. Easy grounder to second. Max Bishop with it. Easy throw to first to Jimmy Fox, and May retired easily. Cy Williams in there now, led off the 4th of the base hit. 2-2 pitch on the way, and Williams fishing on that one. Strikes out, reaching for a breaking ball. Lefty Grove, 10 strikeouts now. All right, here's Chuck Klein. Double play ground ball back in the 4th. Outfield, of course, pulled towards right. Strike 1 the count. Grove pitches to Klein. Swing and a squibber down to first. Fox takes it to the bag himself in time to get Chuck Klein and retire the side. We go to the top of the 7th. The score remains 2-1. Johnson, Moses, and Majeski due up for the Athletics. 1-run ball game here in the 7th. Johnson will try to get something going for the Athletics. Base hit back in the 4th. Alexander peers in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alexander works to Johnson. He swings and misses, and he's out number 1 here in the 7th. So Alexander racking him up too. Left-handed Moses takes his stance. Alexander is ready. 0-2 pitch, and in there on the corner, got him looking, and he knew it. Alexander gets strikeout number 7. So these pitchers, 17 strikeouts between them thus far. Here's Hank Majeski batting with 2 down here in the top of the 7th. The windup in the pitch by Old Pete. Swinging strikeout. Got him with a screwball. So the 8th strikeout for Grover Cleveland Alexander. 7th inning stretch time here at Baker Bowl. And it's the Phils 2 and the Athletics 1. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this little ball game going on here. Hornsby doing damn well, as he should. 1922, that was the year he hit 4 something. Was that the year that he hit 4 something? I don't know. Sisler hit 420 that year. So that was a good year for Hornsby. There's somebody I would have loved to have seen play. A man who wouldn't even go to the movies or read because he didn't want it to mess up his batting eye. And are you going to argue with the 2nd highest batting average in baseball history? I don't think so. You guys think that the movie, right, A League of Their Own, right? So Tom Hanks is supposedly playing Jimmy Fox, right? I mean, he's really, because Jimmy Fox did manage there. And I wonder if, right, because the story, right, he's talking about the famous no crying in baseball. And so he mentions Rogers Hornsby. And my manager, Rogers Hornsby, called me a talking pile of pig shit. I wonder if that actually happened, or they just wrote that into the movie. But could you imagine Rogers Hornsby yelling at Jimmy Fox in his rookie days? Because Jimmy Fox, his rookie year, 1925, doesn't hit his first home run until 1927. But I got to do a little bit of baseball research. I wonder if that happened. So George Sisler is hitting 385 on May 18th in John DFW's Drive for the Pennant 1922 project. And Mick F. informing us here that Sisler hit 401 in 1922. Oof. Hit for just average and power and everything you want. And for second baseman, too, not too shabby, eh? All right, bottom of the 7th. Let's get this going. Harper will get it started. Homer to tie the game in the 4th. The 0-1 pitch on the way from Lefty Grove. Hard grounder right side, and this one will get through right field to right field for a single. So Harper aboard now. Jimmy Wilson steps in, went down on strikes last time. Majeski on the grass, and the 1-0 count. Here's the delivery. Ground to Majeski at third. Could be a pair. He throws to second for 1, but they can't get 2 here. So Jim Wilson able to get on to first in the fielder's choice, 1 away. And here's the lefty Don Hurst. 1 on, 1 out. He homered off Lefty Grove to give Philadelphia its lead back in the 5th. 2-2 pitch. And strike 3 called in the outside half of the plate. Hurst strikes out, and Lefty Grove has now hung up his 11th K of the game. So 2 away, Jim Wilson on at first here in the bottom of the 7th here. Pinky Whitney in the 8th spot. He was a strikeout victim in the 5th. Pitch on the way, pulled deep to left center. Johnson and Simmons were both chasing it, and Johnson takes it in on the run. So Lefty Grove's day is done. Ferris Fain in the game. Bernie, and let's look around here. What have we got here? So Ferris Fain coming into pinch hit now for the Athletics here in the top of the 8th inning. Philadelphia Phillies clinging to a 2-1 lead here. So we have Ken Heinzelman on the mound for the Philadelphia Phillies. And what else do we have here? We have Barney Freiberg now playing second. All right. So here's Ferris Fain, lefty batter. 2-2 offering from Heinzelman. Line drive to third. May goes up for it and catches it for the out. Nice spear out of the stratosphere. All right. Here's Max Bishop now. Sam Chapman comes in now, so Bishop's day is done. Philadelphia Athletics trying to get it going here. 1-2 pitch from Heinzelman popped on the infield, and Bancroft takes charge on the left side, and he will gather it in. So 2 up, 2 down now, and here's Eddie Yost. Hitless so far, walked once, 2-2 pitch on the way from Heinzelman, swing and a miss. And that pitch was low. Yost tried to hold up, but he couldn't do it. So that score that one at K. And second base now, Pete Suter and Russ Christopher coming on to pitch. So looking at, let me see any other defensive replacements. Doesn't seem to be. So Russ Christopher now on. So Lefty Grove, a hell of a day, leaves the game with just a pile of strikeouts, but trailing by a run. Mick F says, so these specific seasons for these players, or is a combination? So yeah, peak. So this is, John, this is very, very, very similar to the baseball history collection in Action PC Baseball. So plays pretty similarly too. I really like it. You can pick them both up. It's smaller than the baseball history collection. It's about 4,500 players as opposed to almost 19,000. But there's, again, enough here to play forever and ever and ever, all kinds of baseball. Yep. Price isn't too bad on it either. And the thing is, you know, that you have a number of great, like franchise great teams. So, you know, again, the Athletics here, there's at least 2 other all-time great Philadelphia Athletics, and there's no doppelgangers at all in any of these teams. So Imagine Sports did a great job putting these together. In the modern one too is excellent. So, all right, here's Bernie Freiberg. I was calling him Barney. Jeez, Bernie Freiberg in there now, making his first plate appearance of the game. And count full. Here's the pitch from Russ Christopher. Ground ball hit to third. One long hop for Majewski, throws across, and he will get Freiberg for the first out of the inning. Back at the top of the order now for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Beauty Bancroft in there to hit. Count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Christopher kicks and delivers. Screaming line drive, base hit to left for Bancroft. Majewski with a headlong dive, but couldn't stop it. All right, so 1 on here for Philadelphia Phillies in the bottom of the 8th inning. And May, who bounced out to Bishop last time, is up. Christopher comes to the set. Pitch on the way. This one hit in the air off the bat of May to short left field, and it'll eventually come down where it's put away by Bob Johnson. So 2 away, Bancroft will remain at first base. And number 3 hitter, Cy Williams. Christopher to the stretch, and the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball over third. Majewski goes to second with it and nips Bancroft for the 3rd out. All right, we go to the top of the 9th, and it's the heart of the order for the Philadelphia Athletics. Al Simmons, Mickey Cochran, and Jimmy Fox. So Ken Heinzelman will stay on in relief. All right, Simmons, for the 4th time today, grounded out to third last time up. The 1-0 pitch. Heinzelman's pitch. This one hit to right field, where Klein moves over easily and makes the grab for the first out. Black Mike now struck out his last time up. Full count. Heinzelman works, and this one up high, and Cochran will take first on the walk. So the tying run is aboard for the Philadelphia Athletics, and striding to the plate from Sutersville, Maryland, Jimmy Fox, the Beast. All right, here's the pitch from Heinzelman. Cochran gets a signal to steal, but he didn't get a good jump, and Fox will take a strike. This one in at the right on the corner. Heinzelman knew what he was looking for there. Heinzelman from the high set and the 0-2 pitch, and Fox, over anxious, goes after a high fastball and is gone. So what do they say nowadays, baseball? He went for the high cheese. All right, Bob Johnson, the last chance here for the Philadelphia Athletics to tie things up here in the top of the ninth. Should there be a bottom of the ninth, I will see Klein, Harper, and Wilson for the Philadelphia Phillies. All right, Bob Johnson in the sixth slot went down on strikes last time. Heinzelman works from the stretch and the 2-2 delivery and got him. Heinzelman closes out by striking out Indian Bob Johnson, and that is your ball game. The Philadelphia Phillies take this one from the Philadelphia Athletics. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Philadelphia Athletics. 1 run, 3 hit, no errors. Let's save game stats, box scores, and all that other kinds of fun stuff. Wow, there we go. That was a good ball game. If I do say so myself, that was a good ball game. All right, let's yeah. So I know it's already been played. I just wanted to look at the damn box score. That's all. Here we go. Got to increase the font size on this thing here. So I just wanted to look at just a couple things here. So as you guys can see here, it keeps a nice log and score sheet as the game goes along. So lots of value here in this game. So there we go, a little Diamond Mine baseball, and we did more talking than baseballing, but that's usually what happens here. Let's see what's happening over in the other league of this. So you can see how many teams come with this. It's pretty crazy. We can look at some some rosters if you guys want. Parallel Leagues is any truth. Good night, Todd. Thank you for coming in, my friend. Sleep well, man. In truth, the rumor that Lefty is currently tearing up the clubhouse. Every truth to that rumor, Parallel League. You know about Lefty Grove for sure. But guess is very compact game, a touch over 4 minutes. Yeah, this is a tiny game. This is such a tiny game. But what a great game. I love this game so much. And I'm so gratified that I can't see the metrics, but I looked over and, we topped out about 16 for a Diamond Mine baseball game with no animation, no sound. Wow. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and let's just autoplay this day. Boink. Let's see, through the end of this day. Boom. There we go. And I had one in progress. Let's finish this one out. Start with a clean slate tomorrow. So there you can see this is, again, some of these players are not going to make, if you look at both of these rosters here, so here's the Boston Braves, right? So some of these guys are never going to make it onto an all-time great Braves franchise league, for instance. But they are going to make them on. So these are the best. Steve Tate did something somewhat similar to this. And you guys, if you want, you should get them. They're kind of his franchise sort of histories. Anybody interested? The Braves took this one from the Senators 8-3. So that's one of the reasons I like this. Oops. Let me say this. I have something similar that I did, sort of similar for Baseball for Windows, but I'm thinking of maybe replicating this in Baseball for Windows. I don't know yet. I might. So let's see. Any interesting games here? Oh, lots of them. But I don't know if you guys are up for another one. I might do one anyhow because it is only 12:30. And D Scott joining us here. Yeah, compared to Action PC Baseball, which is 500 megs, and that's not including the. Well, here I'll just show you as far as ballparks for Action PC Baseball, and so I should be, full disclosure, I have some stuff on my C drive, some stuff on my D drive, but let's just go to DK Sports Data here for a second. So yeah, big difference between these two, the sizes of these two games. It's pretty crazy indeed. Again, there's a lot going on, a little bit more going on. So DK Sports Data, let's go to ballparks. It's ballparks, man. It's like the seasons. So I don't have everything installed here, but the ballparks in this game take up a decent amount of room as well. So we're already up to a gigabyte when you add in ballparks. Now we're over a gig when we add in player photos. So in this season's folders, I have 1.92 gigabytes of seasons. But that's that's not everything it's installed or everything. So this one takes up a lot more room. Team logos here, 22 megs. So just the team logos in here are 5 times larger than Diamond Mine Baseball. So there you go. But Action PC is a great game too. So haven't played Action forever. Neither have I. So the memories listed are for RAM when the game is playing. Nice. Oh, it's 1:30. Holy shit. Well, then I should probably quit. Huh. It's 1:30. Jeez. Where would I be without Dwayne Martz? I'm thinking 12:30. Should do another game. But, yeah, I think I played Action PC about 3 weeks ago on the channel, and that's the last I've played it. I haven't played Action PC as much as I've played Out of the Park this year so far. No knock on Action PC Baseball. Love it. Just no news yet on the update for Full Count Baseball. The last I've heard is sometime this summer. So looking forward to it because I don't know how to use manager profiles in it. And I was playing a game last night offline, and like the manager was calling for a pinch hitter, like third hitter in the first inning. So game not, I don't know if the original game did that or whatever, or there was, I'm not sure, but it's a little quirky. But I think once as Jason Leonard continues work on Full Count Baseball, it's definitely going to be one to get, guys. It's free. So, and it's great that this great, important baseball game is still around for us to play. So 10:30 on the Goat Farm, says D. Scott. Prefer Out of the Park base. I do too, John. But I do think Action PC is still an excellent baseball game. And this one too. I just got to get Gene Grabowski again. I've said his name now 19 times tonight. Man, just how do I reach out to you? I don't know. You know what? I think we're gonna do, just to be nice, just to be whatever. Let's do a modern baseball game. Let's do a modern baseball game. It's going to switch our active database, and I'm going to do another one. If everybody leaves, well, thanks for coming in. If you stay, that's even cool. We can talk more baseball. I just didn't know if anybody was in for a chin wag tonight, but if you want, I can put in the link. All right, now we're moving ahead. All right, scheduled game. What do we have here? These, when I look at these, I'm like, not as much fun sometimes. But you never know. Boy, I don't see anything that really is exciting there. They might all be. All right, how about the rare Pirates game on here? We're going to do a Pittsburgh Pirates game. Homebrew with Out of the Park. I would prefer an all-time greats league with less seasons that Diamond Mine and Action PC use. So, so like Action PC has a couple. I'm going to minimize well, I won't minimize it yet because you guys are going to laugh anyhow. Show you, and again, I don't have everything installed, but there's a couple alternatives I guess I should show, since there does seem to be an interest, obviously, in all-time greats leagues, and I think they're fun. They're fun. Action PC really has a wealth of them. Now, that being said, anything that, obviously you can recreate very, very simply in out of the park baseball, just because it has everything. But hopefully, here I still haven't moved my new base or all my baseball stuff onto the new PC. So, sorry guys, it's taken a while. It looks like this is a baseball history collection database. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. So this all-time great franchise team, this was an old subset, which I've tinkered a little bit and brought a few players on that weren't on. So this one came with the baseball history collection, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Been having a lot of fun with this. But Mickey Mantle, for instance, was not on this team for whatever reason. So brought the Mick on. Don't know how they missed that one, but things happen. Things happen. But I don't think anybody would disagree with any of the rosters here or anything like that. But that being said, let's let this do its thing, and then we're going to switch to a couple different ones that might interest you guys. And again, I've already, what we're doing in Diamond Mind is a whole bunch of these. So here's another thing. Let's do, where is it? Where is it? Yeah, this one. This one was getting really, really popular with people. This is the only approach I've ever seen of what you're about to see here in this database coming up, if it ever wants to load. Yep, there it comes. So this one is Decades team, and this is Action PC Baseball is the only one that's done this. These are made up of the greatest players of each decade of baseball put on, right? So they're all put onto a team or what have you. Dave Cook, the only complaint I really have about Dave Cook is he doesn't continue with projects. So there's no 2010s here. And I've thought about, geez, maybe I should do a 2010s or something. And this is part of the baseball history collection as well, which I always tell people, buy it, buy it, buy it. So I'll just show you, let's just show you the 1970s, just for instance. So Dick Allen, Joe Morgan, Rod Carew, Jimmy Wynn, Mike Schmidt, Bobby Grich, Pete Rose, Jim Rice, Bobby Bonds, I'm sorry, Dave Parker, Ted Williams, Cesar Cedeno, Johnny Bench, Steve Garvey, Thurman Munson, George Scott, Dave Concepcion, Rick Burleson. People were wondering, where's Roberto Clemente? He's in the 1960 squad. So show you that. See, I don't know where they are. Hang on a second. Is this thing just doing things? No, I'm just going blind. That's all. So there we go. So for the 1960s, you got Willie Mays, Frank Robinson, Al Kaline, Willie McCovey, Orlando Cepeda, Billy Williams, Roberto Clemente, Carl Yastrzemski, Ron Santo, Vada Pinson, Elston Howard, Brooks Robinson, Jim Fregosi, Bill Freehan, Luis Aparicio, Bill Mazeroski, and Bobby Richardson. I don't know where the Mick is. I think maybe this is the one where I had to bring in Mickey Mantle. Or is he in the 50s? But again, looking at some of the pictures here, look at this, man. You got Marichal, Gibson, Koufax, and Drysdale. That's pretty scary already. So this is another type of all-time greats league, which is really, really super cool to play. But you're talking about homebrews. We'll get to those. But let's get out of this. And I'm going to show you a couple other cool things that are available from DK Sports, and then show you something that's probably the greatest homebrew you'll ever see, and it's free. So there's another product from DK Sports called Baseball's Top 160 Teams, and this thing is just phenomenal. So it costs less out of the box for as opposed to Diamond Mine Baseball, which has a bunch of all-time kind of great teams. But these are not all-time great teams, but these are great teams of a franchise. I hope I'm making sense. So I'm a National League guy, so we'll bring that up first. And you can see here, you get like there's 80 teams for each 80 teams for each league. So going back to the Wayback Machine, there's the 1906 Cubbies, all the way up into the 2010s. And this thing is really, really super expensive. I'm just going to move the mouse around, pick something at random. And there we go. There's the 2006 New York Mets. So this thing, I wouldn't try to play this huge thing in a league. It would be, this would be great for drafting, pulling over teams or something like this. So a lot of work went into this premium project. Which is not expensive at all. If you want to see something else kind of cool, let's do something here from Mr. Steve Tate. Mr. Steve Tate. So this one, and it's a sister, this is free. So you have to give it a minute to load up. All right, so what this is, there's a National League version, which we're looking at, and an American League version. So what Steve did here with this is took a 5-year span of each franchise, trying to kind of sort of tell the story of baseball. So we click on the 72 Pirates, we actually see that these are the Pirates from 70 to 74. And if anybody knows the Lumber Company, there you go. Starger, Clemente, Zisk, Robertson, Hebner, Oliver, Kleins, Davalillo, Sanguian, yada, yada, yada. Goes on and on. But then you also have, and again, Steve carded all these guys himself, by the way. So these aren't using Dave Cook stats or anything like that. But if we go to this one labeled 1977, this is actually the We Are Family years. So this is 75 to 79. And you are going to have some doppelgangers, but some other guys too. There's Scrap Iron, Phil Gardner. There's Omar Moreno is in here. So we see Clemente no longer here, but there's Dave Parker. So this is a free, huge homebrew, and you can get this on the Action PC forums. You can get it on the Action PC Sports community for Action PC Baseball. So there's also another one that Richard Dombrowski did that's an all-time greats franchise league for Out of the Park Baseball that you can poke around on the web. You can find it. And then also DK Sports sells just a separate all-time greats league as well. So between Diamond Mind and just Action PC, there's just tons of these to play. So there we go. Mick F got me going there for a little while. Let's oh my God. All right. What would be fun? Yeah, I did say, okay, so we're going to do a game between the Pirates and the Cardinals. So let's play this one. I have no idea where we are or when we are. All right. We are at Three Rivers Stadium. Temperature here is, it's a brisk 47 degrees, and the wind is blowing out to left at 4 miles per hour, and sky is partly cloudy. So here we go. All right. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be fun. This is going to be fun. So what do we got here for the St. Louis Cardinals? We got Smith, McGee, and Pujols, Edmonds, Langford, and Jordan, Pendleton, Oquendo. When was the last time you heard Jose Oquendo's name, right? Marrero. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, Van Slyke, Kendall, Bonilla, Easler, Bream, Merced, Reynolds, Bell, and Benjamin. All right. So I left the DH turned on. I actually just forgot. So we're going to have a DH in this game. Sorry, guys. All right. Here we go. Ozzie Smith in there, and John Lieber ready to work here. Pirates versus Cardinals. All right, here's a delivery from Lieber, and Smith rips the first pitch down to first. Bream has it on 2 hops, and he'll hit Lieber covering for the outs to score 3-1. All right, here's Willie McGee. The count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lieber lets it go. Watch out, and it's a long drive to deep right field. This will back up R.J. Reynolds and makes a running catch near the wall. The Pittsburgh faithful Rousing cheer there. So 2 up, 2 down for Albert Pujols. Now batting in the third spot. Edmonds waits on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the kick and delivery. Popped high up in foul ground. Bream goes back for it. Benjamin comes over, and Benjamin will take charge and has it for the third out. So middle of the first, we go. And the Pirates coming up to bat. Leading off here in center field, center fielder Andy Van Slyke. Count full in Van Slyke. Carpenter fires. Van Slyke takes way outside, and Carpenter giving up the walk. Van Slyke will take first. And Van Slyke has superb speed. So Van Slyke, hell of a player. Not only great speed, but absolute howitzer for an arm as well. And had some pop in his bat, too. All right, here's the catcher, Jason Kendall. Right-hander Carpenter out of the stretch in the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball wide of first. So Kendall, the spin and throw to second where they'll get 1, and that's all. Smith's hopping aside, avoiding Van Slyke coming in. All right, so Jason Kendall on for the fielder's choice, and here batting in the third slot is Bobby Bonilla. Don't know where Bonds is on this one. Anyhow, Carpenter from the set position. 2-0 pitch. Carpenter delivers. Popped high on the infield. Pendleton wants it and has it for the out. So 2 away here in the bottom of the first here in Pittsburgh. Brings up Mike Easler. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Easler. Carpenter brings it home. Strike 3 call. This one on the outside corner. Easler isn't buying it and departs in a bit of a huff. All right, that ends the first inning here in Pittsburgh between the Cardinals and the Pirates. My 2 favorite franchises in baseball. Not in that order, though. Pirates first. All right. It's going to be Edmonds, Langford, and Jordan Duop, the 4, 5, 6 here for the St. Louis Cardinals. This is in this set. So, and this is the 1968 and onward. This is the 5th St. Louis Cardinals representation. So there are 4 other St. Louis Cardinals teams here. There are 4 other Pittsburgh Pirate teams here just from 1968 onward. And then when you go back to volume 1, we were playing earlier. So this all-time greats players, such a great value. Not only is it already set up with leagues and schedules and everything for you like that, but monster, amazing drafts that you could do with these things. Bonds, probably the Giants, since no repeats. Yeah, well, I'll have to check these, check the rosters and see, because these are definitely, this is definitely after Bonds. Just looking at the players on the field here. So yeah, probably. I haven't studied these rosters as closely, Mick, as I have the Action PC ones. All right, so Jim Edmonds in the box now, and John Lieber ready to deal. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and this one is a good sinker with some serious second stage movement. Has Edmonds swinging and missing for the K. No score here in Pittsburgh. No, nothing, as a matter of fact. Here's Ray Langford now, the 2-2 pitch. And here it comes. And strikes out Langford. Kendall set up inside, and Lieber missed away. Langford chasing. So quickly, 2 down now for Brian Jordan. 2-2 pitch. And Lieber gets him looking. Fastball. It drops in for a strike, and that's what Lieber can do. And Jordan is out. We go to the bottom of the second, scoreless in Pittsburgh. Sid Bream, Orlando Merced, and R.J. Reynolds. So Bream with a count of 0-1. The next pitch to him. Bouncer to Pujols at first. Kicks it a couple times, then tosses it on to Carpenter. 1 out. 0-2 pitch now to Orlando Merced, and this one is a bouncer. Kendo on the high hop at second, close at first, but in time. 2 up, 2 down now for R.J. Reynolds. Reynolds, the starting right fielder today, 2-strike delivery, and got him on the changeup looking. So Carpenter also. So Lieber and Carpenter locked up in a duel here. Top of the third, no score in Pittsburgh. Okay, so Barry's on the San Francisco 2 team. So Mick, you know these. Yeah, you have these. Cool. All right. So played a game one night. Was it here or it might have been Action PC Baseball? But it was really cool because Barry Bonds was on one team and Bobby was on the other. It was pretty cool, especially because Bobby outperformed him in that game. It was kind of fun to see. All right, Terry Pendleton, Jose Oquendo. Here we go. Pendleton is in the box now. The 1-0 pitch. Pendleton hits a high pop-up. Backpedaling is Bobby Bonilla. And Bonilla has it. Has a little trouble with that one, but stayed with it. All right, so one away now. Jose Oquendo in there now. Lieber ready. And the 1-0 pitch. High fly ball out to left. Merced waiting straight away, and he has it. 2 outs. Neither pitching asking quarter nor granting it. All right. There's Eli Marrero now. Here's the 2-1 pitch from John Lieber. And line short towards short, and Bell can't get to it. And Marrero has the game's first base hit. So if he gets the jump, he's got some speed, and we're back at the top of the order for the Wizard of Oz. Grounded out back in the first. Marrero moves off first, the 2-1 pitch. Lieber kicks and fires. Grounded to short and booted by Jay Bell. Picks it up, goes to second in time for the force and out number 3. So the Cardinals manage a hit, and that's all. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning here in Pittsburgh. Cardinals and Pittsburgh Pirates scoreless. Jay Bell will lead things off here for the Bucs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Carpenter has a sign from Marrero. Here is the pitch. Hit hard down the first base line. Jordan chasing over, cuts it off near the line. Bell takes a turn at first, but will remain there with a base hit. So both no-hitters now broken up here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It doesn't really even pay to talk about them as no-hitters until you get to about the 5th or 6th, right? All right. Anyhow, Carpenter from the set, and the 1-1 pitch on the way. Benjamin chops it left side, and Ozzie Smith, with no play at second, throws over to first for the out. So Jay Bell moves into scoring position, 1 down. We're back at the top of the order for the Corsairs and Andy Van Slyke. All right, so the center field walked are back in the first. Speed down to second, and Jay Bell. Here's the 1-strike pitch. Line to right center for a base hit. Coming around third is Bell, and he will score without a throw. And the Pittsburgh Pirates tally first here in the bottom of the 3rd. It is 1-0. Pittsburgh, St. Louis. Has there been a 2 sports player since Deion Sanders and Brian Jordan? In baseball or just any sport? So I don't know if that does that happen in other sports. And of course, I think the most famous one of them all, right, was as far as modern day, Bo Jackson. But I don't think there is. I not that I know of. But again, I don't follow other sports. So unless one of them's a boxer, I do like boxing. So John says there has been. Okay. Well, that's I'd love to know who it is. Where are we? Oh yeah, Jason Kendall. Buccos with a run in here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Van Slyke on at first. All right, Kendall for the 2nd time today. Here's the 1-0 pitch by Chris Carpenter, and Kendall grounds it back up the middle, and Oquendo goes to his right, gloves it, tosses his missed covering onto first, and Kendall in there safely. So that is going to be a fielder's choice 2 down for Bobby Bowe. Still getting those nice paychecks from the Mets. Carpenter comes to the set, and the 1-0 pitch. Here it comes. High fly ball down the left field line. This one is deep toward the corner. Off and running, Ray Langford, but he will have room and makes the catch, ending the inning. Pittsburgh Pirates pick up a run. We go to the top of the 4th. The Bucs lead the Cardinals 1-0. Willie McGee, Albert Pujols, and Jim Edmonds due up for the Redbirds. Truth hurts Wilkie. I don't. I was going to say, because you said yes in baseball. Okay? Yes in baseball, as in my question. Yeah, I don't think so, unless it's golf or something. But they all golf, don't they? Truth hurts Wilkie. How you doing, man? How are you doing, my friend? It's been way too long. Truth hurts Wilkie is this guy's a big Diamond Mine player, Diamond Mine fan. Belonged to like many leagues. So Truth hurts Wilkie, my friend Gene Grabowski, who's a Diamond Mine player, has been reaching out to me in the comments saying, hey, reach out if you want to learn how to put the nice, nice ballpark images and stuff. So hopefully, I don't know if you know him or not, but if you do, let him know I'm looking for him. I'm gunning for him in a good way, of course. Bonilla was a heck of a pension plan. Oh, my goodness. How about it? All right. It's going to be Willie McGee, Albert Pujols, and Jim Hedman's 2-3-4 hitters. I said that already, but I'm saying it again. Okay. Count full on McGee, and here is the pitch. Strike 3, fastball on the outer edge, and McGee watched it go by. So 1 away now for Albert Pujols. He is standing in. Lieber peers in. The 2-2 pitch. Lieber comes home. Line drive. Bonilla can't get it. Merced will try to keep it out of the corner, and he does. Pujols going for 2 anyway, and he is safe. So good play there. Good throw by Merced, but Pujols able to get in there. Pretty good speed. So here's Jim Edmonds now. Tying run in scoring position for the St. Louis Cardinals here in the top of the 4th inning. Here's the left-handed hitting Edmonds. Yeah, struck out last time. The 1-0 pitch drilled to center. Van Slyke comes up and makes the catch. And Pujols wisely, I'm adding that editorial, wisely holds second. Van Slyke was not a guy you wanted to run on too much, huh? So, Truth Hurts Wilkie says anybody can read it. He says, I'm doing another Diamond Mine draft in his ARC league. I don't know how to do that. I just play a lot of games. Nice. That's all that matters, man, as long as you're having fun, right? Especially in anyhow, here's Ray Langford. Langford batting in the 5 hole today. Struck out his first time up. Lieber has the sign from Kendall. 2-1 pitch on the way. And this one pulled high and deep to right field. Reynolds going back. This ball is carrying, and Reynolds gets it at the wall. How about it? So we gave it just a big, long out. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Pirates over the Cardinals, 1-0. So game 2 of a Diamond Mined doubleheader. Some old-timey baseball, now some newfangled modern baseball, sort of, kind of. All right, Mike Easler, Sid Bream, and Orlando Merced, the 4, 5, 6 hitters, due up for the Pittsburgh Pirates. All right, 2-2 pitch on the way from Chris Carpenter, and Easler sends the drive to right where it's taken in stride by Brian Jordan. So F9, 1 down, and here is Sid Bream. You heard us in 1992. Geez. Grounded out his last time up. 1-0 pitch. This one lifted out to center. And Langford there with Simmons, and Edmonds is going to take charge and make the catch. It's 2 out now for Orlando Merced. Count even at 2, and here is the pitch. This one lined to short and through into left field. This gets over Ozzie Smith's head. So ducked out of the way the last minute here, is the play-by-play is telling us. So the Pittsburgh Pirates picking up their 3rd hit of the game. And here is the Bucko right fielder, R.J. Reynolds, for the 2nd time today. Strikeout victim earlier. 1-0 pitch from Carpenter. Ground ball to second. Taken by Oquendo, who makes the easy throw to first. So that will retire the Bucks. We go to the top of the 5th. The Cardinals trail the Pirates 1-0. Truth Hurts Wilkie says, my friend who's in like 28 leagues knows how to do pictures in the ballparks. Give his email address offline. Yeah, if you could. And you and I got to catch up, man, somehow, like on voice outside the baseball community. We got to catch up. Because I think I'm wondering if we're talking about the same guy. Thing about John DFW is talking about season ticket baseball is the home field advantage for hitters. That's that is cool. Once I get room, I want to get that game. I've not heard anybody say anything bad about that game. So no, nothing's ever, me better. You know us better, John. Nothing's off topic here. It's all good. Please. Name's Rocky. Okay, so different guy, but yeah, I'd love to reach out to him, man, because people are watching, I want to give them a little bit more, it's like, oh, wow, that looks really cool in Diamond Mine. So, damn good baseball game, guys. Look past the lack of bells and whistles, and you got a really fine baseball game here. All right, Brian Jordan, Terry Pendleton, and Jose Oquendo due up. All right, Jordan struck out last time up, and Lieber has the sign from Kendall, winds and deals. This one swung on, rolled to short. Jay Bell up with it in time, and over to Sid Bream for the 6-3 putout. So one away now for Terry Pendleton. Batting in the number 7 slot. Infield pop-up in the third. One strike delivery from John Lieber, and this one lined. Bream can't get it. Reynolds trying to cut it off. He does, and Pendleton will be held to the long single. So potential tying run aboard for the St. Louis Cardinals brings up Jose Oquendo. Second baseman for the Redbirds, bats from the left. Pendleton being held on at first. No balls, one strike on Oquendo. Lieber comes to the plate, and there's a little blooper to shallow center field. Van Slyke eases in and takes it 2 away. All right. Number 9 hitter due up now. Marrero had a base hit his first trip. Pendleton leads, and here's the 1-1 pitch. Marrero hits one deep and far and gone. That was a Dwayne Martz home run call. Wow, Eli Marrero with a 2-run homer, and the St. Louis Cardinals go ahead now, leading the Pittsburgh Pirates 2-1 here in the top of the 5th inning. Back at the top of the order for the St. Louis Cardinals, 2 down, and none other than Ozzie Smith. Lieber has the sign from Kendall, 2-2 pitch on the way. This one hit into the right field gap, and this is going to be for extra bases. How smart could Smith run to third? So a triple for the Wizard of Oz. And here come the Cardinals. Here's Willie McGee now. Struck out back in the 4th. Smith leads at third. 2-0 pitch. Grounder off to the left side. And Jay Bell will get to it and throw out McGee. So the St. Louis Cardinals put 2 on the board thanks to the Eli Marrero home run. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Cardinals now lead the Pirates 2-1. Samuel Smith is here. He's here. Yeah, Mick, how about the play-by-play in Diamond Mine? It's just it's bloody incredible, isn't it? And I just realized when I was showing you guys Action PC, I had the wrong version up. Oh, well. Samuel Smith says season ticket is being discussed as a possible engine in Digital Diamond 15. 2 versions from now on. All right. Cool stuff. Keep it coming, Mark. Just like to see some better Status Pro integration next year, but keep it coming. Keep it coming, Mark. You got a hell of a good ball game there. Leave it to Dwayne Martz, though. He's the man for Digital Diamond here on YouTube, in my humble opinion, truly. Jay Bell leads things off here for the Pittsburgh Pirates in the bottom 5th. Rare Pirates game on a Pirate Fans channel. How about that? All right. So Bell had a base hit back in the 3rd. 1-1 is the count. And Carpenter deals slow chopper. Pendleton in at 3rd. It's a little short hopper, but they do get Bell. Bell slow out of the box there. All right. Here's Mike Benjamin now. He grounded out last time. 2-2 pitch on the way. Carpenter kicks and deals. This one hits slowly. Oquendo is going to wait on this one a second. And the throw. And nice little textbook 4-3 put out. Back at the top of the order now for the center fielder, Andy Van Slyke. The windup in the pitch by Chris Carpenter. This one a bouncing ball up the middle. Oquendo cannot get to it. Off his glove and into center field. So the speedy Van Slyke, the tying run now, or potential tying run aboard for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And coming to the plate now, Jason Kendall steps in. Bounced into a force play last time up. Carpenter from the set and the pitch. Van Slyke is off to the races. This one in there for a strike. The throw down by Marrero, and Van Slyke in there easily. So first stolen base of the season. And Van Slyke moves into scoring position. And the Bucks looking to tie it up here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So both games have been we've had pitchers duels so far I love that. Kendall back in the box. Carpenter to the stretch, and the 1-2 pitch forthcoming, and breaking ball, and Jason Kendall missed it by a foot. So the Buccos waste an opportunity to tie it up. We go to the top of the sixth. The St. Louis Cardinals lead the Pittsburgh Pirates 2-1. Albert Pujols, Jim Edmonds, and Ray Lankford due up. All right, Pujols in the box. Double back in the fourth. 1-0 count. Lieber lets it go. This one sharply hit. Nice stop by Sid Bream. Perfect toss to Lieber recovering. And Pujols out by a step. So 1 away now. And lefty Jim Edmonds in there. Count, no balls, 1 strike. Kick and delivery. Edmonds swings and rips one to right center. Van Slyke and Reynolds on the run, but they're not going to get to it. This one goes all the way to the wall. RJ up with it, throws it in, and Edmonds easily with the 1-out double. So the Cardinals looking to open it up here. 6th hit for the Cardinals in this game. The Pirates with 4. Here's Ray Lankford now. Batting in the 5 slot. Long fly ball to right back in the 4th. Here's the pitch. This one hooked down the line. Fair ball. Still in play. And Edmonds will score. And Ray Lankford with a triple and an RBI. And now the Cardinals with a little safer margin. It is 3-1. Brian Jordan in the box now. So maybe the pitcher's duel, well, it is broken up now. John Lieber going to have to work out of the stretch here to Brian Jordan. Hitless on the day. Pittsburgh playing in to cut off the run. Count even at 2. Lieber delivers. This one bounced slowly to short. Lankford's going to hold third. Bell takes it and throws across for the out. All right. So 2 away. John Lieber trying to get out of it here with minimal damage here, but facing the ever-dangerous Terry Pendleton. Base hit back in the 5th. Lankford with his lead at 3rd, inching down the line. Here's the pitch, and a pop-up out to short right center field. Waiting for it to come down is Andy Van Slyke, and takes it for the out. So St. Louis strands one, but picks up another one. And the Buccos find themselves trailing 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Truth Hurts Wilkie says, if anyone's looking to join a Diamond Wine League, one of the leagues that he is in is looking to expand. There are only 12 teams, but they want to expand to 16 next year. Most leagues are 24 teams. So there you go, guys. We're talking about that interactivity earlier. So reach out to Truth Hurts Wilkie. Maybe if you'd be kind enough to put in contact information like a website or something for those leagues. Or if you guys just want to just talk to Truth Hurts Wilkie now. If you have the game, why not? All right. And that goes for me too. I really should. It's just right now trying to commit to something like that is a little tough, but I'm going to figure out how to do it. Bobby Bonilla, Mike Easler, Sid Bream, the 3-4-5 hitters due up for Pittsburgh here in the bottom of the 6th. So it was a tight ball game, but St. Louis coming through with 2 in the 5th and 1 in the 6th. The Buccos 1 run back in the 3rd inning. Leading off now, Bobby Bonilla flied out last time. Full count from Chris Carpenter. Cut on and missed. Nice slider there by Chris Carpenter. And that will take care of Bobby Bo. 1 down now here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And Mike Easler in the box. Carpenter looks in. Ball 1 on Mike Easler. Here's Carpenter's pitch. This one popped up in foul ground. Pujols going back for it. Oquendo comes over, but this one is going to make the stands. 1-1 pitch on the way. Hard ground ball to the right side. Gloved by Pujols. Gives it off to the pitcher, retiring Mike Easler. Score that one 3-1, 2 down now. As the number 5 hitter, Sid Bream. Here's the 1-2 delivery from Carpenter. Changeup hit on the ground up the middle. Ozzie Smith gloves it, throws across, and gets Bream by a half step. That will retire the Bucks. We go to the top of the 7th inning. The Cardinals lead the Pirates 3-1. 16 people watching some Diamond Mine baseball here on a Saturday night, Sunday morning, depending upon your perspective. Thank you very much, guys, for hanging out. If we can, it'd be nice to do a baseball chin wag next Saturday. So if you guys can think of good maybe some good suggestions, that would be wonderful. All right, it's going to be Jose Oquendo, Eli Marrero, and Ozzie Smith due up for the Cardinals here in the top of the 7th inning. All right, Lieber has the sign from Jason Kendall. Here's the 0-1 pitch and popped up on the infield. And Lieber, from the safety of the mound, points in the air, and Mike Benjamin comes in to make the catch. So 1 away. Dwayne Marsh says, "You Pittsburgh fans, let's sit on your all-time team." So this is a later version of the Pirates. So this is right after the 90 Pirates and stuff like that, 90, 91, 92 Pirates. So yeah. Well, I mean, does Sid Bream really make an all-time great Braves team? Don't know. Anyhow, was waiting for Dwayne to kind of chime in on that one. Dwayne Martz, of course, big Braves fan and Yankees fan. So all around good guy, but I don't know. I'm not sure about his favorite teams, to be honest with you. Oh, man. All right. Dwayne, you got anything coming up tomorrow on your channel? Dwayne, always the streaming demon, guys. Always. Right-handed Marrero takes a stance. Had a homer his last time up, and he's ready to go now. The wind in the pitch from John Lieber. This one hit hard to right center field, and Van Slyke is chasing it on the track and makes the play. So 2 down. So one of the fastest first basemen the Braves ever had, says Dwayne. So he hopes to do some baseball tomorrow. So, or whatever he's doing. I know he does black or red, white, and blue racing and all that. But again, Dwayne on the Digital to Dice podcast tonight earlier as a guest with Dave Gardner. And really interesting topic, guys. Check it out. And then maybe you can kind of address what I was mumbling on about for the first 40 minutes of the little get-together here. All right, back at the top of the order now. 2 down. Ozzie Smith comes to the plate. Tripled his last time up, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. Ground ball left side to short, and Bell, not a problem. This will be shortstop to shortstop. Side retired. 7th inning stretch here at Three River Stadium. The Pirates trail the Cardinals 3-1. All right. 6, 7, 8 due up for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Merced leading it off here. Singled back in the 4th. Here's the pitch from Chris Carpenter. This one blooper to shallow left. Langford comes on to make the catch. And 1 away. R.J. Reynolds in there now. Thrown out by Jose Oquendo back in the 4th. 2 strikes on Reynolds. Carpenter's pitch. This one slapped to short. This one a bad hop, but nice grab by Ozzie Smith over to first. And they'll get R.J. Reynolds. So 2 buckos up, 2 buckos down. And the Pirates looking at a possible sinking ship here. Bell in the box now. Count even at 2. Carpenter comes home. And Bell slaps this one on the ground. Ozzie Smith knows he's going to have to hurry. And he just gets Jay Bell by a half a step. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Cardinals 3, Pittsburgh 1. Willie McGee, Albert Pujols, and Jim Edmonds due up. So John Lieber staying in here. McGee leading it off here. 0-1 pitch. Lieber kicks and fires. McGee lines one down the right field line, and Reynolds can't get to it. He dove, but the ball got by him. Bounces all the way to the wall. Reynolds finally has the ball. Here's the throw back in, but McGee is in with a triple. And are you surprised? Willie McGee could fly around the bases. All right, so St. Louis looking to bust it open here. Nobody out, and here's Albert Pujols. Bounced out back in the 6th. Infield pulled in. 2-2 on Pujols. Lieber brings it home. And inside pitch fools Pujols. Goes down swinging. So big pitch there by John Lieber. But still, it's only the first out. He's got to get past Jim Edmonds and Ray Langford. And speaking of whom, Edmonds in the box now, hitting 3 trips off Lieber. Speed on third, infield in. McGee up the line to third. Full count. Slider misses just low. And Edmonds will take a stroll down to first. So the Cardinals with runners at the corners, and here comes left-handed hitter Ray Lankford. All right, Pittsburgh trying to get the out here. Lieber's pitch bounced to Bonilla third. Bonilla up with it, and now loses the ball. Big E5. Boy, does that come back and take a big old great white shark bite out of the collective arses of the Corsairs of the confluence of the three rivers into Steel City. How was that for Florida speech, gentlemen? 4-1. Big error by Bobby Bonilla. Rumor has it they're going to send him off to New York post haste, so he'll be hanging out in Queens pretty soon. 4-1. Bobby Bonilla. Good God. It hurts. So Nathaniel still hanging in there, man, with this. Awesome. So he asked who did Dwayne cheer for the 96 and 99 World Series. That was a good question. All right, Brian Jordan in the box now. Cardinals pulling away with this one. Parallel League says, I remember watching that 1992 National Championship Series with his dad. He said he was a big TBS Braves fan. And he said, and Parallel League loved the early 90s Pirates. I knew when we took Dre back out that we were in trouble. That was a heartbreaker. A heartbreaker. Oh, my God. We just, oh, my God. What a way. Francisco Cabrera. What can you say, though? What can you say? A lot of post-game analysis, too, talking about Bonds being a bit arrogant out there and not listening to Van Slyke and what have you. And we lost. Would have been our first World Series since 1979. And, well, there we go. We live with it, huh? AP, been a while since I've seen you. Good to see you. Welcome in here on an early Sunday morning or very late Saturday night, depending upon your time zone, perspective, and state of mind. Dwayne says Braves saw more of their games. He saw more of their games because of WTBS. Plus, the Yankees already had 20 plus championships. Yep, got to give the Yanks that. That's for sure. All right, right-hander Jordan stands in. He is over 3 against John Lieber. The 2-0 pitch to Jordan, and here is the delivery. Bounce to the right side. Benjamin will go to second with it. Lankford is out of there. They cut down the runner at second. 2 men, 2 down now, and runners at the corners. 1 in for St. Louis here in the top of the 8th for Terry Pendleton. One of Dwayne's favorite players, I'm sure. Batting in the 7th slot. Throw over. Breen puts on the tag, and Jordan is just safe. It's a close play there at first. Lieber with a good move to first. On that play, the 1-2 pitch on the way. Popped foul ground close to the seats. Bobby Bo under it and actually makes the grab. So Lieber giving up, though, that limits the damage to 1 run, but that run on a Bobby Bonilla error. And Michael Valier will come in to pinch hit. So Spanky, as Pirates broadcaster Lanny Fratteri once said, he is slower than he looks. So Pirates still have a decent bench here with Jeff King, Jose Lean, Kevin Young. Jose Lean could foul balls off all day and all night. All right, so Spanky in there now. And I don't think he'll be replacing. I don't think they're going to be doing much here except letting Spanky bat, and that's it. And it makes sense. All right, and who sneaks in here but Pat Perry? Pitch on the way to LaValliere, and this one hit the center, sinking on Edmonds, and it's going to drop for a base hit. So the Buccos pick up their 5th hit of the game, back at the top of the order now. Andy Van Slyke, 2 for 2 overall today. And a walk. So he's behind 1 and 2. And here's the pitch. Grounded hard to the left side. Ozzie Smith dives. This could pass him into left field. LaValliere past second, but he's going to hold. Because let's face it, it's Michael LaValliere. So Van Slyke having a heck of a game today, baseball fans. And here comes Todd Worrell. This is the guy the Pirates don't want to see trying to put something together here in the bottom of the 8th. All right, but here is Jason Kendall. All right. And we're all ready to face him. 3-1 pitch. Line drive right field. And this one is going to be caught by Jordan, and the runners will stay put. So first and second for the Bucs, one down now. Bobby Bonilla looking to redeem himself here. Here's the 0-1 pitch. This one hit on the line to left center. Base hit at least. Langford cuts it off before it gets through. LaValliere is around third, and he will score. And Van Slyke will try for third, and he'll make it without a throw. And holding it first with a single and an RBI is Bobby Bonilla. So indeed, he does redeem himself and gets the run back that he gave up. So it's now 4-2. Cardinals still lead, and here's Mike Easler. Easler batting in the cleanup spot here for Pittsburgh. Jason Isringhausen now will be pitching. Easler in the box. And St. Louis looking for the 2-ball. Full count on Easler. Isringhausen delivers. Easler pulls a line shot to the right side. Oquendo lays out. This one goes through for a single. Van Slyke will score. Bonilla round second. He's going for 3. Jordan throws to third, and Bonilla is in there. And here comes the Pirates now. 4-3. Bottom of the 8th, and the Buccos waking up again here. Each team now with 8 hits. So Bonilla does an error, and this is a tie ball game, perhaps. All right, runners at the corners. Here's Sid Bream. Sid Bream wants to be a hero here for the Pittsburgh Pirates before he goes off to that club down south. So he grounded out in the 6th. Infield, make the play at the plate. Payoff pitch to Bream. And this one, a breaking ball nearly bouncing into the strike zone, but that was enough to entice Bream, who goes down swinging. So out number 2, Sid doesn't get it done. Can Orlando do it? Dial O for Orlando. Huh? You say dial O for Junior, or for Ortiz, actually. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Isringhausen works. Merced, the sharply hit ground ball right side. Pujols with it, flips to the pitcher, covering in time to retire Merced. But the Pittsburgh Pirates do pick up 2 runs here in the bottom of the 8th. We go to the 9th. Good ball games, both of them tonight. 4-3 Cardinals lead in this one. Jeff King will come on to play second base for the Pittsburgh Pirates now. All right. And Bill Landrum will take mound duties here in the 9th, and he will face Oquendo, Marrero, and Ozzie Smith. Bonilla still getting paid by the Mets and Orioles. Yes, he is, Nathaniel. Absolutely. Let me see. What do we got here? I'm sorry, guys. I'm locked in on this thing. Diamond Baseball, how do you know when a pitcher is fatigued and needs to be replaced? You kind of have to. One of the things about Diamond Mine Baseball is it doesn't hold it's not going to alert you about certain things. So what makes this game, I would say not for somebody who's never, I wouldn't introduce this game for somebody who's never played a baseball sim before. You've got to just, like a manager does, kind of use your judgment. With this game, it's not, and it's tough. You've really got to. I'm letting the computer manager just manage both teams here, AP. But this game is not going to say so and so's tired, which I kind of like that, and it's a tough AI too. It will play you tough, yes indeed. All right, here's Jose Oquendo. You can of course check on his fatigue rating and stuff like that, so you can go in and look at reports and stuff here during the games. You can look at box score and game logs and stuff like that. So it's not like you're just completely in the dark here. But sometimes the play-by-play will sometimes make a little comment. But yeah, there's no, and I think that's by good design actually. And I don't know if you guys realize or not, but you can play this in pitch-by-pitch mode too, which I love when games have that ability to do it. All right, Oquendo, Marrero, and Ozzie Smith. When we get to the Pirates' 9th inning, it's going to be Reynolds, Bell, and King. Okay, here we go. Landrum with a fastball, curve, and a change. This will be his first appearance this season. Kendo will lead things off in the ninth. He's hitless so far today. 1-1 pitch, bouncing ball to third, and Bonilla gets rid of it, and Okendo is retired for out number 1. All right, Eli Marrero, big hero in this game for the St. Louis Cardinals thus far. Flew out deep right centers last time up. Landrum back up on the rubber, and here's the pitch. This one a little pop-up, and Kendall will bring it down for out number 2. This one up the chimney and came right back down. So 2 down now, back to the top of the order. Ozzie Smith, Captain Triple, and all that stuff. And bounced out to short his last time up. Pitch on the way from Bill Landrum. Smith off the trademark to left, and an easy play for Orlando Merced. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning, and Jason Isringhausen will face the 7, 8, 9 spots in the Pirates order. R.J. Reynolds, Jay Bell, and Jeff King. Reynolds 1 for 3 in the game. Or I'm sorry, 0 for 3 in the game. I was looking at the next hitter. 2-2 pitch, and bouncing ball to third. Pendleton juggles it, recovers in time, and throws out R.J. Reynolds. 1 Pirate up, 1 Pirate down, and here's Jay Bell, who is indeed 1 for 3. Looking at the wrong guy there. And the Cobra comes in, so member of this year's Hall of Fame class, Dave Parker. Parker ready to go, and here we go. Here's the pitch. This one is hit to short, and Smith has it, timed it well, and made a great leap. No surprise there. All right, the Buccos down to their final out. Jeff King, who came on, playing second base, making his first plate appearance. King with a chance to tie it up right here in the bottom of the 9th. And after all that, it's going to be Al Martin. So we're all over the place here. Jimmy Leyland going to his bench, and here's lefty Al Martin. Isringhausen running through the signs. The 1-1 pitch, and grounded to the right of the mound. Okendo far to his right, has it, and goes to first in time, and that's your ball game. So 2 good games tonight. There's a new coffee table book. Oh, cool. Tell us more. Love to know about books. Let's look at our recap here really quickly, guys. Good, both baseball games good tonight, I think, here on Diamond Mind. The St. Louis Cardinals take this one from the Buccos. 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, 3 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. So there we go, guys. We're going to go ahead and save these box scores and all that kind of stuff. All right. So, boom. Lots of games, and this again split up into just, it would take forever to play through all of these in both volumes and stuff like that, but why not? Nathaniel, thank you for hanging in, man. I know you have a migraine. Go get some rest, brother. Congratulations on your moving out and everything, and hope to hear you on YouTube pretty soon, man. Good times. Thank you, Parallel League. Thank you for offering a lot of color tonight and everything. Always great to have all you guys here, and we've been on for 2 hours and 38 minutes. So, again, do check out Dave Gardner, the Digital Dice podcast. Great discussion tonight. Couldn't stay for it all, but what I was there for was really, really good. And hopefully we can continue these kinds of great discussions. So Samuel Smith says there's a new coffee table book out on the Negro Leagues called Play Harder, The Triumph of Black Baseball in America. Amazon has it, forward by Dave Winfield. Ooh, no, let's look at it really quickly before we go off here. Yeah, go off before we leave here, whatever. Let me see. Play Harder. Yeah. Let's look at it. Man. Samuel Smith he's going to drive me to bankruptcy. but that's okay. That's all right. And let me pull this over for you guys so that you can see it. There we go. And the blurb saith, an authoritative exploration of how Black Americans have shaped baseball from its emergence after the Civil War to the Negro Leagues and Jackie Robinson's breaking of the color barrier up to today's game by award-winning author Gerald Early. All right, Gerald. Nice. In collaboration with the National Baseball Hall of Fame. So you guys should remember Gerald Early from the Ken Burns baseball documentary, who said that 1,000 years from now, when archaeologists are studying America, we remember for three perfect things: the Declaration of Independence, jazz, and baseball. So I've got to add in rock and roll, Gerald. I mean, come on. But anyhow, the blurb here says, no sport has been more associated with America's sense of itself, with its identity, than baseball. No sport has been so inextricably bound with America's traditions, with its notions of democracy and fair play, than baseball. And no professional sport in America has been as dramatically connected to social change as Major League Baseball when it became racially integrated the moment Jackie Robinson took the field with the Brooklyn Dodgers on April 15th, 1947. Play Harder comes at a time when the history of Black baseball has become especially relevant. Following Major League Baseball's recent recognition of the Negro Leagues as major leagues and the effort to incorporate statistics from the Negro Leagues in for all those players, so you guys know about the Major League equivalencies. Before Robinson, as Play Harder shows, Black athletes played baseball as far back as the 1800s, even before the establishment of the Negro Leagues. But once founded in 1920, the Negro Leagues gave Black Americans an inroad to baseball that would be enduring and profound. The leagues were an instrument of community building during a time when discrimination separated Black people from all white enterprises, including baseball. And they paved the way for racial integration that Black players hoped would come. Play Harder showcases the Black stars of the game, those from baseball's early years, such as Moses Fleetwood Walker and Rube Foster, Negro League stars like Satchel Paige and Cool Papa Bell, Jackie Robinson, and those who crossed the color line after him, like Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, followed by Frank Robinson and Curt Flood, and the stars who ushered in today's game, such as Reggie Jackson, Dave Winfield, Barry Bonds, and Ken Griffey Jr. Playing out against the culture and political events of 150 years, the story bears witness to the richness of this country's diversity while remaining clear-eyed about the racial injustice endured by Black Americans. In the end, Play Harder celebrates the triumph of some of baseball's greatest players and the remarkable contributions to the game we know and love today. So this, we're looking at the audiobook here version, but this looks amazing. Really, really, really looks amazing. So, wow. Thank you, Samuel. Jeez. Boy, I guess I got to pick it up. In Diamond Mine, says Truth Hurts Wokey, each season they will give you a chart of how many pitches of poor, fair, very good, and excellent. They are different in each era. Yeah, so you got to go it in that way. It's going to be more like maybe a sort of cards and dice game where you're going to imagine. By the way, guys, this book is only $33.70 in hardcover. I'm going off all over the place here. How big is this puppy? It's because I'm not looking at the hardbound edition. But anyhow, look at all these great things you can get here on Amazon. Great baseball games. Can I click on the hardcover edition? I just want to see just the size of this thing. Oh, look at that. Hey, baby. Savings alert. So there I go. So that's why I love having a Capital One credit card, because they get it for $23.19, honey. Yes. But not right now. Come on, give me. Okay, this has to go away for right now. Just give me, how big is it? If it's a coffee table book, it's going to be big. Yeah, 320 pages. So, love it. Ooh, football. Anyhow, there we go. Thank you, Samuel, for that. for letting me know about yet another baseball book I have to get. All right. Nathaniel says, yep, bankruptcy, here I come. Well, guys, I guess that's about it. I do want to thank you for coming in. It's always good to have baseball family here, man, on a Saturday night or any night. So look for Dwayne Martz doing some baseball tomorrow on his channel. Probably some more APA, post-Bats League. And AP, be well, sleep well. Samuel Smith saying the graphics and artwork, outstanding. So definitely will be buying that, along with the billion other things that Samuel Smith is making me spend money on. All right, guys, rather than keep you here for the next 10 minutes, I just want to thank all you guys for coming in. We had a really great, varied crowd tonight, and people hung in for 2 games of Diamond Mine baseball. So that says a lot about how good this game is, and I do hope more people will consider buying it. Once Pocket Pennant Run's new update is out, I will be on with the game for that. And we will be doing more Pocket Pennant Run, but I want it to get stable enough that when if I'm recreating the whole Bats League, I don't want to have to keep copying it over and over and over again or having to redo it. So I'm waiting to do more of that game, but I love 400 pages. I'll take it. I like hefty books, man. Hefty books. All right, until the next time, guys. Don't know when that'll be. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see you around the batting cage and at Dwayne Martz's channel and Legend Sports Universe and RGO Network and every place that great baseball is played, and here as well. All right, good night, everyone.